Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, People in Sand Hidden Village. Kill White Fang at the beginning. Chapter 1. Sand Hidden Village, Cage Building. All the core ninjas in the village have been summoned here. If my guess is correct, the third generation has probably been killed. Grandma Chio, who had been silent for a long time, put down the documents in her hands and looked up at the crowd. Upon hearing the news, all the ninjas in Sunagakur village fell into sadness and despair. Chifeng, who was standing in the crowd, touched her waist silently. The third generation Cage has been missing for a long time, just because he is known as the strongest Cage. As long as the body is not found, the people of Sunagakur village think he is still alive. Unfortunately, it backfires. Now is not the time to be sad. Our search for the third generation was too great, and those fools in Union Village also knew the information and launched a sneak attack on our border. I received another secret message that Konoha's Hitaki Sakumo will lead a team to burn down our granary. Grandma Chio glanced at the paperwork on the table, her voice was very heavy. When she mentioned the name Hitaki Sakumo, a trace of hatred flashed in Grandma Chio's eyes. Konoha White Fang, the murderer who killed her son and daughter-in-law. I wish I could kill White Fang myself to take revenge. But now that there are wolves in front of me and tigers behind me, and there are internal and external troubles, Chio, is the only remaining high-level combat power and backbone of Sunagakur village. I don't know if this is true or not. Hitaki Sakumo's information, the large-scale sneak attack at Kumogakure village is the highlight. Lao Shen and his younger brother Ebizo led the main force to fight against Union Village. Rasa, you are responsible for guarding the one-tailed Jinchuriki, and you must listen to your instructions at any time. As for the granary, Granny Chio glanced at the ninjas below and couldn't help but sigh. There is no comparison between Sunagakur village and Konoha village. Konoha village has a geographical advantage and there are endless talents. Fortunately, there are still a few talented people in their generation in Sunagakur village. Qinfang, Yi Kang, you led a Chunin team to defend the granary. If an enemy is discovered, immediately send a signal to the village. Luo Sha, you are always ready for support. Yes, a handsome young man with a bandage on his left hand, and a ninja girl wearing a halter suit next to him, accepted the task at the same time. Qinfang, the strongest puppet master of the new generation, even Chio's mother-in-law couldn't be sure which Qinfang was stronger. Her grandson Scorpio was stronger during the Second Ninja World War. As a ninja, he captured the Senju Noju and Kato Dan, and single-handedly made Princess Tsunade, one of the three ninjas of Konoha, miserable. With this achievement, Qinfang directly surpassed the Chunin and was promoted to a special Junin. The girl beside him, Yi Kang, was his teammate in the Genin team. His skill in burning escape is also extraordinary, and he is also now. As for their other teammate and teacher, they were about to be promoted to Chunin. They were killed in several missions during World War II. After all, war is not a game. After assigning the tasks, all the ninjas dispersed. Now that the front line is in a hurry, there is no time to rest and recuperate. Qinfang and Yi Kang also took a Chunin team and flew to the granary transfer station outside the village. Yi Kang, who was following Qinfang, saw his companion holding the puppet scroll tightly around his waist. He quickened his pace and ran to Qinfang's side. Don't be nervous. The source of White Fang's information is unknown and is probably false. Yi Kang. Kang spoke like a gentle sister, but Qinfang didn't have that intention. As a time traveler, he knows very well that this information is true. 100% of the information came from the hands of Danzo, the old treacherous man in Konoha. According to the next development, Qinfang and Yi Kang only need to focus on dealing with his companions when White Fang attacks. By then, White Fang will give up the mission for his companions, return to the village and be attacked by a fishing boat, and eventually commit suicide. But why? You think of Sunagakur village as your tool to eradicate dissidents, Danzo, but you think too highly of yourself. Qinfang glanced coldly in the direction of the land of fire in the distance, and clenched his bandaged left hand. Only Qinfang knew that he had indeed defeated Senju Noshu and Kato Dan during World War II, but he did not lose his mind and become crazy. They were both seriously injured and were taken away by a group of mysterious people. At that time, Qinfang was not strong enough to deal with the large number of Junin and could not stop them. If I guessed correctly, it was Danzo. Danzo would never have imagined that Qinfeng invented the camera more than 10 years in advance and applied it to puppets. There will soon be more evidence of Konoha's dark side. At the entrance of the granary, Qinfeng stared at the setting sun in the distance, then glanced at the girl beside him, and sighed softly. Although Sunagakur village is the weakest and poorest among the 5 great ninja villages, at least it only needs the 4th generation. Even if Keisuke Rasa doesn't take office, it will still be very harmonious. After all, a difficult environment will temper everyone's will to unite. It can be said that the 4th Keisuke, who does not have Sarutobi Hiruzen's life, has Sarutobi Hiruzen's disease. He was the main culprit for the decline of Sunagakur village. Whatever disgusting things others did by Sarutobi Hiruzen, at least Danzo was responsible for it. He was good at it and personally ordered the sale of Yakura. Yi Kang, don't ask for help whether White Fang appears or not. Qinfeng suddenly spoke and reminded his companions. But if White Teeth appear? Yi Kang was a little hesitant when he heard Qinfeng's words. White Fang is an already famous cage-level powerhouse. How can the 2 younger generations, who have just reached the level of Jonin, be able to fight against him? Leave White Fang to me. Qinfeng replied calmly and slowly untied the bandage on his left hand. Seeing Qinfeng undoing the bandage that had been wrapped around him, Yi Kang appeared to be warning everyone, but he couldn't help but glance over secretly. Ever since Yi Kang met Qinfeng, his left hand has been bandaged. At first, Yi Kang thought that Qian Feng's left hand was injured and disabled, but after staying together for a long time, Yi Kang realized that there was nothing wrong with Qian Feng's left hand, so he regarded this as Qian Feng's quirk. Today was the first time that Yi Kang saw Qinfeng taking off his bandage, and he couldn't help but be a little curious. Under Yi Kang's gaze, Qinfeng untied the bandage and threw it aside. There's nothing different about it, Yi Kang muttered. Qinfeng's left hand was no different except that it was whiter than ordinary people. In fact, in the center of Qinfeng's palm, there was a diamond-shaped mark, which was fading away at this time. At the same time, Qinfeng's long dormant golden finger system reappeared. Host, Qinba Qinfeng. First template, Desert Emperor. Unlock level, 100%. Abilities, Sand Soldier appearance, Quicksand movement, Custodian wall, Ascendant form, Sun disc. Second template, Darkened Sword Demon. Unlock degree, 1%. Ability, none. Finally disappeared. Feeling the changes in his body, Qinfeng breathed a long sigh of relief. This diamond-shaped mark is not the yin seal on Tsunade Sakura's forehead, but the terrifying wedge. Wedge is the cursed seal of the Otsutsuki clan, and those who possess Wedge, the host's own abilities, will be greatly enhanced, and he will gain the special ability of the Otsutsuki clan. It is just a basic operation to absorb chakra. Qinfeng with Wedge can say, the era of ninja is over. But in fact, he has. But the power of the wedge has never been used, because the person who was carved into the wedge was actually just a container for the resurrection of the Otsutsuki clan. As for who the host of the wedge was when Qinfeng first crossed over. In this situation, if it weren't for Kagaya Otsutsuki, then the only one who could travel through time and space would be Otsutsuki Urashiki. But these are no longer important. With the opening of Qinfeng's second template, Dark Origin Sword Demon, Wedge has completely changed. Disappeared. The talents, chakra amount, and chakra attributes brought by Wedge did not disappear, but were integrated into Qinfeng's own abilities, which required Wedge as a medium to absorb chakra, space transfer, and seal recovery, as well as some other abilities. Then they all disappear. But again, this has no impact on Qinfeng, because he has never used these abilities. On the contrary, because the Desert Emperor template has reached 100%, his strength has undergone a qualitative change. The country of fire, Konoha village. Konoha at this time can be said to be in its heyday. Although 2 of the 3 ninjas left Konoha for various reasons, the new generation was strong enough to stand on their own, not to mention that Hiruzen Sarutobi was in his prime. On the top floor of the Hokage building in the center of the village, the 4 most powerful people in Konoha were convening a meeting. The latest information shows that the 3rd Keisuke is most likely really dead. Kumogakure village has already launched an offensive. Sunagakur was unprepared and suffered a big loss. Chio went directly to the front line. What do we do today? Watch the fire from the other side, or take advantage of it? Sarutobi Hiruzen took the scroll of confidential information and shared it with his 3 companions, seeking their opinions. Naturally, we should start the war immediately and mobilize our troops to the front line. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Mito Menyon couldn't help but stood up and said, I agree. Going to bed, Kaharu nodded. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Danzo, who calmly took out a scroll from his arms. I have sent White Fang to raid Sunagakure village for grain and grass. Danzo, you are too hasty. Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned. He naturally knew what Danzo wanted to do. Forget it if it was peacetime, but now a war is about to begin. Wouldn't it be better to let White Fang help capture a few strongholds before dying? No, you became kind. If White Fang gets another military exploit, no one will be able to hold him down anymore. We have no shortage of strong men in Konoha. If it doesn't work, let Uchiha go to the front. Danzo retorted coldly. Well, Sarutobi Hiruzen took a puff of smoke from his pipe, who is responsible for guarding food and grass in Sunagakure village. Even if they knew the information, could they stop White Fang's knife? Seeing that Sarutobi Hiruzen acquiesced to his actions, Danzo felt a little better and said, if I guessed correctly, it should be the lucky guy who is known as the strongest puppet master of the new generation in Sunagakure village. Lucky man, this is the nickname given to Chinfengchi by Danzo and Hiruzen Sarutobi in private. How do you know that the spies in Sunagakure village have penetrated so deeply? Sarutobi Hiruzen was a little surprised. No, my guess is that there are only a few named and capable ninjas in Sunagakure village. The puppet master became a Junin a few years ago and is considered the leader of Sunagakure village. Of course, it would be nothing if left in Konoha. Danzo smiled contemptuously and explained. Puppet master. White Fang was not afraid of the puppet master. Sarutobi Hiruzen put down his cigarette and said calmly, don't forget, that guy Chio's son and daughter-in-law both died at the hands of White Fang. If they are still alive, who is the name of this strongest newcomer? The lucky guy whose turn it is. Monkey, are you entering old age early? Danzo smiled coldly and said, the granary of Sunagakure village is just outside their village. They knew in advance that White Fang would come. The puppet master couldn't defeat it. So what about the tailed beast? Just as Danzo guessed, Sunagakure village, which lacked food and grass due to geographical reasons, could not tolerate losses. Even if it was not certain whether White Fang's information was true or false, it was ready to use the power of the tailed beasts at any time. In a heavily guarded prison outside Sand Hidden Village, Luo Sha slowly walked forward. Shukaku, there may be a foreign enemy coming later and your strength will be needed, so be prepared. As he walked deeper, Luo Sha stopped and spoke to the flickering candlelight in the cage in front of him. After saying a word, Luo Sha left in a hurry. When he walked out of the cell door, his back was already soaked. Tailed beast, the pressure and murderous intent were too terrifying. After Luo Sha left, strange sounds came from the cage. Old guy, that red-haired guy is really rude, why don't we go out and kill him? Deep in the prison, the voice of a Shukaku came from the body of an old man sitting cross-legged on the ground. This man is Bunfu, the first Jinchuriki of Sand Hidden Village. Bunfu has been a Jinchuriki since he was born, and has always been. Although he was imprisoned here, he did not have any resentment. Instead, he felt the same as Shukaku and became a spiritual friend. Shukaku even called him, similar in quality to the Sage of Six Paths. At the same time, Fenfu was also the first in the true sense. The perfect Jinchuriki is far earlier than Kurabi of Kumogakure village and the protagonist Uzumaki Naruto. It's a pity that Sunagakure village doesn't understand this and still regards Fenfu as other Jinchuriki they have encountered on the battlefield. A violent beast, no one even remembers Fenfu's real name, and is only known as Shukaku. Shukaku, I know you want to go out. Since the ninja just now said that there is an invasion from a foreign enemy and needs your help, then we will wait. When Fenfu heard Shukaku's voice, he slowly opened his eyes and patiently comforted him. Oh well, Shukaku obeyed and fell silent. In fact, the seal and defense force here have been relaxed for many years, and it can riot and leave at any time. But once it chooses to leave, Fenfu will inevitably be implicated. But as time goes by, Fenfu will growing older but never stepping out of the cage. Shukaku gradually felt worthless for his old friend. The silence in the cage didn't last long, and Shukaku's excited voice rang out again. Old man, what the red-haired man said just now. The enemy seems to be coming. Shukaku's perception in the desert is far beyond that of ordinary people. Fenfu slowly opened his eyes and looked outside the cage, showing a hint of worry. He even had to use his ultimate trump card, the tailed beast. What happened to his village? At the granary transfer station, a Chunin team was patrolling the outside. The two main forces, Qinfeng and Yi Kang, stood at the door, guarding the most critical door. Laugh. Two black shadows suddenly appeared from the ground, grabbed the feet of Qinfeng and Yi Kang, and pulled them into the soil. The kunai in their hands stabbed into their hearts. Oops, I was fooled. The faces of the two Konoha ninjas who used the decapitation technique in their hearts changed greatly. The feel of the kunai inserted was completely wrong. This is a puppet. Go quickly. Two figures rushed out of the woods, grabbed two companions and fled. It is common sense in the ninja world that once you misjudge the authenticity of the puppet master, you must flee as soon as possible, otherwise the puppet will immediately launch a fatal counterattack. However, Qinfeng's puppet is not that simple. Let go. The Konoha ninja saw that his companion was still holding on to the puppet, and he suddenly became extremely anxious. I can't let go. The Konoha ninja responsible for the assassination was about to cry. He said why he felt blood flowing out even though they were puppets. It turned out that it was not blood, but some kind of strong glue. At this time, the two puppets' a space suddenly pops up on the face, revealing what's inside. Oops, it's a detonator. The Konoha ninja immediately recognized what was inside, and his expression suddenly changed. Captain, help me. The stuck Konoha ninja gritted his teeth and shouted to one of them. The man called the captain showed a touch of silver hair. He hesitated for a second after hearing the shouts of his teammates, and immediately pulled out the short blade from behind and cut off to the person's arm, and pulled the two people to continue to retreat. A few people hid behind the rocks. The two Konoha ninjas with broken arms endured the pain and quickly bandaged themselves. However, when they finished bandaging, they did not hear the explosion. Yi Kang watched the whole process in the dark. He also looked confused and turned to look at Qinfeng. Why didn't your detonating talisman explode? Detonating charm. Qinfeng tilted his head in confusion. Grandma Chenio financed the puppet making alone. The detonating talisman is 90,000 taels per piece. How can I afford that kind of thing? So, what is that? Yi Kang opened his mouth wide and blinked his eyes cutely, a little confused. It's just ordinary paper drawn according to the detonating talisman, but in order to increase the confusion, a little chakra is left on it. Qinfeng took out a stack of detonating charms from his arms and shook them. How about some? Do you want some? Yi Kang. The Konoha ninjas hiding behind the rocks also knew at this time that they had been tricked. After all, there are no detonating charms of substandard quality in the ninja world. It must have been forged by the enemy. Why did you act without authorization? Now we are exposed. Hitaki Sakumo scolded the two of them while observing the surroundings vigilantly. With the experience and strength of Konoha White Fang, as long as he is given 2 more seconds, he may be able to distinguish the abnormality of the detonating talisman. But because his companions or when he went to investigate the garrison forces of Sunagakur village, he acted early, so he had no time to observe. At this moment, Hitaki Sakumo didn't find anything wrong with his teammates, he just thought that they were too eager for quick success. Sorry, Captain, we're dragging you down. The two Konoha ninjas covered their wounds and bowed their heads to apologize. Don't say this now. I just checked the ninjas guarding here. There is only one team of Chunin. In addition to the puppet master and the guards around him, there are up to 3 Jonin. But this place is very close to Sunagakur village. We must complete the mission before they reinforce us. Hitaki Sakumo has rich battlefield experience and instantly analyzed the best strategy. I'll deal with the puppet master and the people around him. You go deal with that team of Chunin. Don't let them send out a signal. After Hitaki Sakumo formulated the battle plan, he disappeared instantly. After he left, several Konoha ninjas looked at each other and rushed towards the outer Chunin with understanding. They all come from roots. It's just that these Konoha ninjas didn't notice that there was a small sandbag hidden behind them, following them closely. Standing on the roof of the granary, Qinfeng opened his eyes, jumped down, landed on the ground, and sighed. the ninja world relies on hard power, and the so-called conspiracy is just a game for the weak. A young man would have such a feeling. A figure suddenly appeared and stood opposite Qinfang. Qinfang, be careful. Yi Kang grabbed a handful of kunai and put it in front of him, blocking Qianfeng. Qianfeng nodded slightly, took out the scroll from his waist and threw it into the air. The two have cooperated countless times on the battlefield. Yi Kang with the body of the sword release. Qinfeng can do whatever he wants, but this time he is facing the strongest Konoha White Fang in the world. What will the result be? Bang bang bang. A burst of smoke dissipates, and 10 bodies of different shapes appear. The puppet appears before White Fang. He was able to control 10 puppets at once. As expected, there were no virtual warriors under his reputation. Hitaki Tsukumo clenched the short blade behind his back and felt a little emotional in his heart. Maybe if you give this young man some time, he will be able to surpass Chio and even the second-generation Cage, the puppet master. Squirtle, spray him. Qinfeng touched the chakra line and uttered a sentence lightly. The turtle-shaped puppet on the far left suddenly opened its mouth and sprayed water towards Hitaki Tsukumo. Hitaki Tsukumo's body flashed and he had already appeared in behind. Squirtle, a white light flashed, and Squirtle's turtle head was chopped off. However, when he looked at the water sprayed by the turtle-shaped puppet, he became confused. This is not water escape, it's just water escape. Ordinary water flow. Before he could think about it, the water reservoir inside the turtle-shaped puppet with its head cut off exploded, and Tsukumo Hitaki's hands were filled with water. Pikachu, sacrifice your life to attack. Qinfeng watched this scene and touched another chakra line. A yellow mouse puppet quickly rushed towards Hitaki Tsukumo. Completely different from the puppet masters of seen before. Hitaki Tsukumo became increasingly alert, and slashed at the fragile-looking yellow-haired mouse puppet with a knife, preparing to cut it open and then dodge immediately to prevent something strange from exploding inside. Sizzle. As soon as the blade touched the Pikachu puppet, Hitaki Tsukumo felt something was wrong, and a numbness rushed up his arm. Is this thunder escape? No, just ordinary electricity. Hitaki Tsukumo immediately made a judgment in his heart, and at the same time, the crisis came to his mind. Judging from his many years of experience, attacks that seemed to have no power before were just for this moment. Sure enough, at the moment Hitaki Tsukumo was paralyzed, all the other puppets launched attacks at the same time. But after all, it was just an ordinary electric current. Hitaki Tsukumo recovered instantly, formed seals with his hands, and pressed them on the ground. Earth release Earth-style wall. Bang 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 bang. Countless kunai and senbon were blocked on the earth flow wall. After blocking the attack, Hitaki Tsukumo immediately jumped up high. Because Qifeng's puppets attacked Hitaki Tsukumo at the same time, all the chakra lines converged. Hitaki Tsukumo found the right moment. A flash of chakra light flashed from the white fang in his hand, and through the knife, directly cutting off all the chakra lines of the puppet controlled by Qinfeng. No fancy ninjutsu, just ultimate combat experience and reaction speed. This is Konoha White Fang. Qinfeng, go away quickly, I'll stop him. Yi Kang glanced at Qinfeng's waist and found that there were no other scrolls. He gritted his teeth and said loudly. Without the puppet master, the combat power can be said to be reduced by 90%. No, he can't leave. Hitaki Tsukumo picked up the white fang on the ground and looked at Qinfeng, only to find that he still had a calm expression on his face. He couldn't help but frown. Without the puppet, do you want to continue fighting? No more puppets. Qinfeng smiled softly, and a touch of quicksand passed through his fingertips. My empire exists in every grain of sand. Magnetic escape. Seeing the sand and dust raised around Qinfeng, Hitaki Tsukumo's first reaction was that the third cage had the same type of magnetic release. After all, Gaara was not born yet, and he was most famous for controlling sand. Naturally, he was known as the strongest the third generation of cage. But soon, Hitaki Tsukumo discovered that something was wrong. The third generation of cage's magnetic escape was developed from Shukaku. This magnetic escape controlled black sand iron, not pure. The sand is completely different from Qinfeng now. A new line of descent. No wonder he is so confident. Hitaki Tsukumo tightened his grip on the white fang short blade, turned it into a sword light, and drew it towards Qinfeng. The new line of blood inheritance, the information is naturally unknown. But this kind of unknown is meaningless in the face of the gap in strength. There is no one cares about the blood inheritance limit of a dead man on the battlefield. Just when Hitaki Tsukumo was about to stab Qinfeng's heart with his white fang, a black shadow suddenly appeared and knocked him away. The black shadow appeared so fast and strangely that even though Hitaki Tsukumo was a cage-level expert, he didn't even react. The shadow that just hit him. Is this a puppet? Hitaki Tsukumo frowned. He didn't expect Qinfeng to have a puppet, but the puppet looked a little weird. Tisk. Hitaki Tsukumo's heart tightened, and he tilted his head to the left, and suddenly felt a heat on his face. A feeling of pain spread to the brain. He didn't even notice when the enemy came behind him. Drink. White Fang's sword flashed and slashed behind him. Poof. The imaginary cutting feeling did not appear. White Fang, the extremely sharp chakra knife, was actually stuck. The crisis emerged, and Hitaki Tsukumo kicked the person behind him. Body, using the strength to leap into the distance. What? Hitaki Tsukumo suddenly discovered in the air that his foothold was already covered with puppets. The puppets were holding spears and sharp weapons in their hands, waiting for him to fall and pierce him. Tisk. Hitaki Tsukumo fell into the spear formation and was instantly surrounded by thousands of people. The gun penetrated the heart. Bang! A burst of smoke dissipated, and a broken piece of wood fell to the ground. The body of Hitaki Tsukumo appeared on a tree. His expression gradually became serious. I didn't expect to see the substitution technique. Qinfeng, who controlled the sand soldiers, couldn't help but sigh at Hitaki Tsukumo's rich battlefield experience. The substitute technique is not just about being attacked and replaced with other things. It is the power of Sasuke's Rinnegan. As an E-level ninjutsu and substitute jutsu are only useful if you predict the danger in advance. In the middle and late stages of Naruto, substitute jutsu is basically a useless ninjutsu. With rich experience and a successful substitute, the best thing is to move to a nearby tree. In the same way, Hitaki Tsukumo's substitute technique has no effect on Qinfeng. I have said it before, my empire exists in every grain of sand. Hitaki Tsukumo, who was hiding behind the tree, was shocked. He finally saw clearly how those puppets appeared. The gravel condensed rapidly, and a puppet appeared in just 1 second. Every 10 seconds on the ground soon, a sand soldier puppet appeared in front of Hitaki Tsukumo. Not good. Seeing the dull eyes of the sand soldier puppet looking at him, Hitaki Tsukumo's experience told him that he had been discovered. Countless sand soldiers turned to him at the same time, holding their spears high. Earth escape, earth flow wall. Facing the attack of the sand soldiers, Hitaki Tsukumo immediately formed a seal and created a defensive earth wall. Plop, plop, the sound of countless spears hitting the earth wall made Hitaki Tsukumo calm down. Tisk. Still, before he could think of a countermeasure, a spear suddenly pierced his heart. Hitaki Tsukumo instantly dodged and retreated, but was pierced through the lungs and spit out a mouthful of blood. It's the gravel on the earth flow wall. Hitaki Tsukumo covered the wound in front of him and discovered the reason for the sudden appearance of the sand soldiers. When the earth current wall rose, it brought up the gravel on the ground, but he didn't pay attention. Wait, gravel. Hitaki Tsukumo looked around. If the enemy's ability was to control gravel, then there was no need to borrow the gravel on the earth flow wall. The environment of the country of wind was extremely harsh, and as expected. Hitaki Tsukumo's surroundings were desert. In an instant, 4 sand soldier puppets rose up. How much chakra does he have? Or is it that the blood inheritance limit consumption is very low? Looking at Qinfeng, who was still very relaxed in the distance, Hitaki Tsukumo felt that he was in a desperate situation. In fact, Hitaki Tsukumo was right. As long as there is ready-made gravel, all the abilities of the Desert Emperor will be consumed. Low. Coupled with the talent that Qinfeng gained by swallowing the Otsutsuki clan, the amount of chakra is comparable to that of the Uzumaki Senju clan. Just when Hitaki Tsukumo was thinking about whether to summon his teammates and give up the mission, Qinfeng's voice sounded in the sky. Came. Hitaki Tsukumo, you are just a remnant of the old era. Konoha also wants you dead. There is no place for you in the new era. Konoha wants to kill me. When Hitaki Tsukumo heard these words, he was briefly distracted. The next second, Hitaki Tsukumo immediately came back to his senses. There was desert under his feet, and a sand soldier could appear anywhere at any time. Being distracted is fatal. Yes. What surprised Hatake Sakumo was that Fang, who had been seizing the opportunity to attack before, didn't take advantage of his distraction to launch any attack. Why? Is it because the young man in front of him is inexperienced? It's impossible. This idea was eliminated from Hatake Sakumo's mind. Fang was not an unknown ninja. As Konoha White Fang, he once heard Tsunade gritting her teeth with hatred towards a person who participated in World War II and caused the loss of 3 ninjas. How could a ninja whose Tsunade is suffering from hemophobia be inexperienced? 3 days ago, Granny Chio received an anonymous intelligence scroll, which reminded us in Sunagakur village that Konoha White Fang would lead a small team to attack the granary. Standing on a slowly rising building, Fang told Hatake Sakumo the truth. At the same time, the information scroll he got from Chio's mother-in-law was thrown down by Fang. What? Hatake Sakumo trembled, looking in disbelief. He just received the mission yesterday, how could the information be leaked 3 days ago? Seeing that Fang still did not attack, Hatake Sakumo opened the scroll vigilantly. Imaginary the poisonous fog mechanism did not appear, and there were only lines of text on it. After briefly scanning the content, Hatake Sakumo began to distinguish the handwriting. Even if he was unwilling to accept it, he had to succumb to the fact at this moment, this is the sky. The handwriting of A. Tianjia. Upon hearing this unfamiliar name, Fang was slightly startled, and then realized that this was the code name of Konoha Anbu. The Anbu and roots of Konoha seem to be 2 different departments, one is under the Hokage and the other is under Danzo, but they are the same in terms of rules. General has another nickname, called Anbu Training Department. But Fang didn't expect that White Fang could even remember the handwriting of Anbu members. At this time, Fang had to admit that Hatake Sakumo had reached his limit as a ninja who did not cheat. The last one, Hanzo, who was known as a demigod, was also influenced by the psychic beast Sanshoyu. It's a pity that he was born in Konoha and is destined not to survive. You may still be worried about your companions, but did you know that they actually took on another mission? While Hatake Sakumo was in a trance, Fang's voice sounded again. Another mission. Before Hatake Sakumo could guess, a large number of ninjas from Sunagakur village had already arrived under the leadership of Rasa. Seeing the vast number of sand soldiers, Suna Ninja's first reaction was that Grandma Chio came back to support. But this idea disappeared in the next second. The front line was in a hurry, and the Kumo Ninja battlefield was more dangerous than here. So there was only one possibility. Fang, your strength has become stronger again. Luo Sha looked at Fang, who was standing high up, and felt a little pessimistic for a moment. He was also from the younger generation, and Fang was even younger, but in the end his strength was almost the same as him. He had finally understood the placer gold, and was able to exhibiting ambitions. It turns out that Fang also has similar abilities, even stronger. Did anyone bring it? Fang glanced at the man who looked very similar to Gaara and asked. I brought it. Where is White Fang? Did he escape? Rasa waved his hand, and the Suna ninja captured several Konoha ninjas and escorted them over. Because there were too many sand soldiers in Fang on the field, he didn't even see Hatake Sakumo, who was surrounded in the center. Isn't he right there? Fang waved his right hand, and the sand soldiers gave way to a path, revealing Konoha White Fang standing alone in the middle. This, Luo Sha and the sand ninja behind him saw the silver-white hair and subconsciously grasped their weapons. The mere sight of White Fang's reputation is enough to make people fear him. But they didn't know that Konoha White Fang was now a tiger in the zoo and had lost his fighting spirit. Being able to commit suicide because of the fishing boat, Hatake Sakumo's psychological quality is not high, let alone that he has now learned something more terrifying than the fishing boat in the original work. Someone at the top of the village he was loyal to actually wanted him dead. It's almost time for faith to collapse. White Fang, what on earth are you doing? Have you betrayed Konoha? Several companions were escorted over, and Hatake Sakumo was about to ask, but those Konoha ninjas took the lead. Me, betrayal. Facing the doubts of his companions, Hatake Sakumo looked puzzled. White Fang, don't blame them for being excited. Aren't you surprised why 3 Jonin attacked a group of Chunin and were captured alive instead? Fang looked at the fun below and chuckled. The voice came down from a high place. Before White Fang could think about it, Fang continued directly, because they want to be discovered and captured on purpose so that you can give up the mission to save them. Why did they immediately anxiously question your betrayal of Konoha as soon as they saw you alone? Because you didn't catch me or the hostages. What would you do in exchange for their lives? When Hatake Sakumo heard Fang's words, he immediately looked at several Konoha ninjas and found their eyes flickering. After a brief hesitation, one of the Konoha ninjas explained, "White Fang, you must listen to them sowing discord. How could we do such a thing?" But at this moment, Hatake Sakumo's face was already cold. Judging from his proficient interrogation skills, his companion just lied. In fact, if it is a core root member trained by Danzo, the root will not have emotional fluctuations because of such trivial matters. But it is precisely because of this that if the core members are sent out, they will be easily noticed by the keen White Fang on the road. In order to prevent this situation, Danzo selected teammates for White Fang who were all ordinary ninjas who were originally innocent. These ninjas had just joined the roots when they were selected by Danzo, and were given the seal of Tongbane by Danzo. In addition, he wore an Anbu mask when he went on a mission, so as long as there were no problems with his words, Hatake Sakumo wouldn't notice. But Danzo never dreamed that the invincible Hatake Sakumo, whom he tried so hard to get rid of, would be defeated. He didn't capture any hostages, didn't gain any advantage. This caused his plan to be exposed instantly. "I want to go back to Konoha and ask them myself." Hatake Sakumo instantly appeared next to a sand soldier puppet, and pulled out the White Fang short blade that he had just lost from the sand soldier. Faced with Hatake Sakumo's sudden action, the sand ninja was very helpless. GG subconsciously made a way. Sand Hidden Village is not a place where you can come and leave whenever you want. Luo Sha shouted loudly and stopped in front of Bai Ya. At the same time, he glanced at the Sand Hidden Village in the distance. Since White Fang wanted to escape, there was no need to use Shukaku. Compared to White Fang, Shukaku was more terrifying. Looking at Luo Sha's actions below, Fang shook his head. It's too late to gain reputation now. Yi Kang, who was standing nearby, listened to Fang's inexplicable words and tilted his head in confusion. "Fang, do you mean that Luo Sha can't stop White Fang? Didn't you notice? Just now I was fighting White Fang, and it was all about the mission." He fell into a desperate situation, but also on the premise of complete the mission. Now, Konoha White Fang is no longer bound by the mission. Even if my attack range is the entire desert, it is not an easy task to keep him by simply relying on sand soldiers. Fang waved his hand, and the army of sand soldiers condensed below turned into ordinary yellow sand and returned to the desert. The sand soldiers were an extremely deadly threat to ordinary ninjas, even Junin. The condensed sand soldiers had sharp weapons, solid defense, the resilience of constantly absorbing quicksand, fast speed, strange appearance locations, and shared vision. If this appears on the battlefield, it will basically make the ninja world feel the fourth ninja in advance. The disgusting and difficult thing about the reincarnated army of World War is just that in front of the top powerhouse, as long as you fully understand the characteristics of the sand soldiers, not to mention defeat, at least escape is still no problem. He had insufficient information and was constrained by missions, but he had no such concerns with Luo Sha. Luo Sha coveted the next Feng Ying and was always looking for ways to increase his reputation in the village and gain his military exploits. His information is clearly known to other ninja villages. Take action, White Fang. Let me show you my new ninjutsu that improved the magnetic release of the third Cage Sama. Magnetic escape golden sand waves. A ball of placer gold surged up from the ground like a huge wave and attacked Hatake Sakumo at a very fast speed. Poof. Hearing Luo Sha's self-praise, Fang couldn't help laughing. Is sand gold an improvement on sand iron? Are you playing Minecraft? Iron is also more useful in Minecraft, right? As we all know, the hardness of gold is very low. The easiest way to identify gold is to bite it. If there is a mark, it is real gold, and gold is non-magnetic. The only thing about sand gold that is better than sand iron is that the value of gold is higher. But when you are fighting, are you more valuable than the enemy ninja? Is it possible to throw out a pile of sand gold and tell the enemy ninja, how much is your mission bounty? Just take it from it. Even the third cage is terrible. So, I think the magnetic sand iron is improved from Ichimi Shukuru's sand. In fact, the hardness of sand is much stronger than that of sand iron. Anyone who knows something about the mechanical industry knows that grinding wheels are used to burr steel. Hitaki Tsukumo's White Fang couldn't kill the sand soldier in one go, but facing sand gold, Kai. A silver light flashed in the sky. Luo Sha's so-called magnetic escape was cut off in an instant. Just when Qinfang was about to take action, he suddenly felt a huge force of chakra approaching from the sky. The mountain shakes. Ha 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 ha, I'm here. The sand and dust dispersed, and everyone saw clearly the face of the loud voice, and immediately fell into panic. Shukaku escaped. What happened? Why did Shukaku break the seal? It's over, the third Kazekage-sama is missing, Chiyo-sama is not around, who can control Shukaku? The sand ninjas, whose morale was already low due to external and internal troubles, became even more desperate. 50% of them had almost no will to fight. Why did Shukaku suddenly appear? Luasha secretly cursed, feeling a little anxious, and finally decided to give up intercepting the fleeing White Fang, and prepared to deal with Shukaku with all his heart. It's just a pity that once White Fang is killed, he will definitely get the two Sunagakers, Chiyo Granny and Ebizo. With the strong support of the village elders, her reputation will reach its peak. Luo Sha sighed in her heart at this missed opportunity. I wonder if Placer Gold can counterbalance Shukaku. Luo Sha secretly mobilized Placer Gold to guard against Shukaku's attack. Children of Sunagaker village, are you idiots? I'm here to help you. Shukaku saw that the ninjas of Sunagaker village were guarded and frightened towards it, and a pile of nameless fire surged in his heart. Sure enough, the only one who can truly connect with the tailed beasts and understand each other is the old man Fenfu. Regarding Shukaku's words, except for Qinfang who knew the perfect Jinchuriki, no one believed it. In their eyes, the tailed beast was violent and crazy, and it was the ultimate weapon of the village. The method of use was to directly drop the Jinchuriki into the enemy pile on the battlefield. Not fighting side by side with our own people. I'm so angry, tell me where the enemy is. Shukaku saw that Suna Ninja still didn't believe it, and he was furious, but because of Fenfu's control, he couldn't take action against Suna Ninja, so he could only vent his anger on the intruder. Shukaku's huge raccoon cat head turned, and he quickly found Desert a figure in the desert. The only advantage of the desertification of the Kingdom of Wind is that there is no place to hide, and you can know where the enemy is at a glance. Wind escape practice blank bullets. Die to me. Countless huge compressed wind balls were spit out from Shukaku's mouth, and they hit White Fang's figure like a cannon. Seeing that Shukaku was really attacking the enemy, the ninjas of Sunagaker village fell into confusion for a moment. Could it be that the tailed beast was really in a good mood today and didn't go berserk? Alas, it seems that this thing is no longer useful. Qinfang, who was standing on the high platform, looked at Shukaku not far away and sighed. Shukaku's appearance disrupted his plan. Shukaku's blank missile seemed to be attacking Hitaki Tsukumo, but it also stopped other people's attacks. Hitaki Tsukumo only had to dodge the empty missiles, and he didn't even have to worry about Qinfang's sand soldiers suddenly appearing under his feet. The sun disk barely constructed from ordinary gravel at his feet was not enough. Hitting Hitaki Tsukumo by maintaining speed and power even after passing through the missile barrage. The sun disk needs to be built from the ground up. A sun disk created out of thin air cannot exert its true power at all. Then, the only way is to use another ability. After Qinfang Desert Emperor template reached 100%, he unlocked two abilities, one is the sun disk, and the other is the ascender mode. At this moment, the night dissipated, dawn broke, and the rising sun in the distance slowly rose from the horizon. Rising. Suddenly, a ray of golden light from the sun shone on Qinfang. This dazzling light made Yi Kang, who was standing next to Qinfang, a little surprised. When did the sun's dazzling light dissipate? The Sunagaker village ninja uniform disappeared. The golden crown robe and long sleeves fluttered. A golden mysterious staff floated in front of him, and he grasped it in his hand. See what I see, the ancient power surges within me. Ascension mode, turn on. Qinfang closed his eyes and felt the changes in his body and abilities. He slowly opened his eyes and looked at Konoha White Fang in the distance. Suddenly, Qinfang jumped up and looked at everyone's horrified eyes. down, jumping onto Shukaku's head. You little brat, get off my head. Shukaku felt someone stepping on his noble head, and instantly stopped practicing the blank attack, and the quicksand on his body rolled up to the top of his head. Qinfang, be careful, Yi Kang shouted anxiously when she saw this scene. She also wanted to help, but her burning release, which can evaporate water, has miraculous effects on living creatures but has almost no effect on tailed beasts. Even a tailed beast has to look up at the sun. Qinfang held the golden scepter and pressed Shukaku's head. Boom! Shukaku's huge body seemed to have been hit by a meteorite, and he fell heavily to the ground. Looking at the Sunagakur village ninjas in front of him, the little civet cat's eyes were full of doubts. Who am I? Where am I? Why am I lying on the ground? After controlling Shukaku and shutting his mouth, Qinfang turned his gaze to Hitaki Tsukumo in the distance. Shukaku, calm down, you almost let the enemy go just now. Funfuku, who is still awake in Shukaku's body, comforts Shukaku. Because he is a perfect Jinchuriki, he has not lost consciousness, can share the field of vision with the tailed beast, and can control it to a certain extent. Funfuku is very important to Suna. Shukaku was surprised to see a strong man like Qinfang appear in the hidden village, and naturally he didn't want Shukaku to interfere and hate him. Shukaku, who was pinned to the ground, felt aggrieved and was about to speak when he suddenly felt a familiar feeling from Qinfang. Breath. Jinchuriki. No, it's impossible. Shukaku's mind was full of questions. He actually felt the same Jinchuriki feeling from Qinfang as Funfuku. The problem was that Shukaku knew every tailed beast from the second tail to the 9 tails, but any of their Jinchuriki when the force appeared, and using the power of the tailed beast, it could be distinguished immediately, but the aura similar to the Jinchuriki on Qinfang was completely unfamiliar to Shukaku. Now Shukaku wanted to pull out the dead six-path sage. Ask, did he secretly create an extra tailed beast without letting them know? That's not right. The aura on this kid's body is more powerful than that smelly fox. Is there a 9.5 tail? Shukaku turned his inflexible mind and thought about the problem. The 9 tails are already the limit of division of tailed beasts. If there is one more tail, that would be. Shukaku seemed to have thought of something terrible. Shukaku shivered. Shukaku, what did you say? Is this child also a Jinchuriki? Funfu heard Shukaku muttering to himself, but he was a little shocked. When Senju Hashirama distributed tailed beasts, Sunagakur village had no money to buy them, so they had to catch one and one tail themselves, and asked each village for one. Some money and resources. Where did the second-tailed beast come from now? Old man, don't get excited. Maybe I sensed it wrong. There is a strange and powerful force in this kid's body, and it's not a tailed beast. Maybe he sealed something else, or it was a secret technique or something. Shukaku saw Funfu's worried face and hurriedly explained. Is that so? Funfu was relieved when he heard that Qinfang was not a Jinchuriki. This old man worked hard for Sand Hidden Village and was heartbroken. He was afraid that Qinfang was a Jinchuriki and would be imprisoned like him. However, in fact, Shukaku's induction is correct. The Ascended One mode is very similar to the Tailed Beast mode. The Shirima Empire casts the Sun Disk, allowing people with outstanding talents to enter the Ascension ceremony and receive the baptism of the Sun's energy. This is just the performance in the record. The fact is that the Sun Disk is the tool that links the Star Dragon King to the Star Crown. The so-called solar energy is actually the power of the stolen Star Dragon King. Why does Shukaku feel Qinfang is very similar to the Jinchuriki? Because the so-called Ascended One is, in other words, the Jinchuriki of the Star-casting Dragon King. And Qinfang's ascendant form is one of the strongest forms, plus there is no interference from the star-casting Dragon King's own consciousness. It is equivalent to the perfect Jinchuriki form. If the tailed beast is derived from Lady Usagi, the goddess of USA, and Miss Kagaya on the moon, then the power of Qifeng is the sun and the stars. Hitaki Shumao, this road is blocked. Hitaki Tsukumo, who was running wildly in the desert, suddenly heard a voice coming from his ear and subconsciously dodged to the side. However, in just a blink of an eye, densely packed sand soldiers appeared directly on the originally empty desert, surrounding him. Why didn't Qinfang take action until now? The most important thing is that the ninjas of Konoha finally arrived. What could be better than killing them in person in front of the ninjas of Konoha? Is faith even more heart-wrenching? In the desert, a team of Konoha elites were running quickly in the direction of White Fang. They didn't know what was happening ahead. The mission they received was to complete what White Fang failed. Mission, that is, to destroy the granary of Sunagakure village. In the view of Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo, although Hatake Tsukumo was destined to fail the mission due to their conspiracy, he could definitely bring a wave of disaster to Sunagakure village. Heavy damage. In addition, as soon as White Fang left, Sunagakure village would subconsciously relax its vigilance. At this time, they would send another elite team to launch a raid. Once Sunagakure village's granary was destroyed, Sunagakure village would definitely be successful. Once they succeed, it will be a great achievement. Therefore, the third generation of Hokage does not shy away from relatives, and specially selected his eldest son, Sarutobi Shinosuke, as the leader of the team, which can be said to be very great. Captain, there's a problem ahead. We must stop immediately. The reconnaissance ninja specially equipped by Sarutobi Hiruzen for his son, Hyuga Hazashi suddenly stopped and reported solemnly to Sarutobi Shinosuke. There are a large number of ninjas gathering in front, most likely a large army of ninjas from Sunagakure village. Hyuga Hazashi had blue veins popping out around his eyes, and he spoke heavily about the information he had detected. Sand Ninja Army. Sarutobi Shinosuke paused slightly after hearing this. Is it White Fang who is being besieged by Sunagakure village? Not only him, but other Konoha ninjas can think of the possibility of the Sunagakure village army appearing outside. But now the problem comes. Sarutobi Shinosuke, as the eldest son of Sarutobi Hiruzen, is one of these people. The only person who knows that White Fang's mission is tricky. If he goes to rescue Hatake Tsukumo, Sunagakure village will definitely be alert when he sees the large army of Konoha, and Mikao's second sneak attack plan is doomed to fail. But if he doesn't rescue, Hatake Tsukumo is very popular in Konoha village. The three ninjas praise him and all the major families have contacts. If he abandons Hatake Tsukumo in such an obvious way, it will inevitably cause dissatisfaction among others. White Fang is our ninja of Konoha. We cannot abandon him, but we must not forget our mission. After a brief thought, Sarutobi Shinosuke made a compromise plan. Hazashi, you continue to be wary of those ninjas. Others hide their presence and approach slowly, observing the situation first. White Fang is so powerful that we may not need to take action at all. But if Sunagakure village uses that, then even if we take action, it will be useless, do you understand? Sarutobi Shinosuke's words are very interesting. It seems that he wants everyone to get closer and prepare to rescue Hatake Tsukumo, but in fact there are only two choices. The first one is that Hatake Tsukumo has the advantage and there is no need for them to take action at all. The second one, Hatake Tsukumo was at a disadvantage, and it was useless for them to take action. The Konoha ninjas hid their figures and slowly moved forward, finally seeing clearly the bunch of Sunagakure village ninjas. Is this the Sunagakure village army you are talking about? Sarutobi Shinosuke glared at Hinata Hazashi angrily. These things, let alone white eyes, can be seen clearly by myopia. They are clearly puppet-like dummies. How can it be? Hyuga Hazashi felt that his outlook on life had been impacted. He closed his eyes and looked at the soldier again. It's really a puppet. Why? Hazashi, what on earth did you see? Nara Shikaku, the think tank on the side, noticed something was wrong with Hinata Hazashi and immediately asked. I have never seen a puppet. The chakra movement in the body is exactly the same as that of a human being. Hyuga Hazashi shook his head, and when he looked at the sand soldier again, he was already a little scared. What would happen if the puppet has the same chakra movement as a human? Then the puppet can also use ninjutsu. People in Scorpion before the advent of the forbidden technique of puppets, this was simply a fantasy. It was well known in the ninja world that puppets relied on hidden weapons, mechanisms, and poisons. If puppets could cast ninjutsu, why would ordinary ninjas do it? Are you saying that these puppets can cast ninjutsu? How is it possible? When did Sunagakure village have so many puppet masters? Sarutobi Shinosuke looked suspicious when he heard this. Although puppet masters are a characteristic of Sunagakure village, there are not many because the cost of making puppets is not low, and they have to be repaired repeatedly if they break. Especially after several disarmaments in Sunagakure village, the orthodox puppet master can't even assemble a team. No, I looked carefully and found that the chakra trajectories in these puppets were all synchronized. I suspected that the controller of these puppets was one person. Hyuga Hazashi took a deep breath and spit out his terrible guess. One person. All Konoha ninjas stopped breathing for a moment. How many sand soldiers were there in front of them? They were densely packed, at least thousands, and as many as tens of thousands. Can this be controlled by one person? Even the second-generation puppet master Casecage Shaman can't do it. Just when the Konoha ninja was carefully guessing, a voice came from the distance. Konoha White Fang, why are you running? I have told you the truth. Your reason accepts the facts, but you still don't believe it in your heart. Chinfang stood in midair with a ball of gravel under his feet, looking down at Hitaki Sakumo, who was surrounded by people below. Hitaki. Sakumo still did not give up resistance, and quickly approached a sand soldier puppet with the White Fang short blade in hand, tossed left and right, and returned to the same place. How can it be? No chakra lines. In Hitaki Sakumo's view, if he controls so many puppets, there must be dense chakra lines gathered above him. He only needs to find that place and cut off the chakra lines to disconnect Chinfang in. However, the fact is that Chinfang does not need to use it to control the sand soldiers. Why bother? Will you die in conspiracy and slander, or on the battlefield? Chinfang's faint voice sounded from the air, and he pointed his scepter downward. Let me help you make a choice. Under the horrified gazes of Konoha ninjas and Hitaki Sakumo, hundreds of sand soldier puppets put down their spears and began to form seals. After entering the ascendant mode, the puppets that could only use physical attacks originally can actually use ninjutsu. Thousands of sand soldiers have become the clones of Chinfang, indestructible and infinitely regenerative. Wind escape wind killing formation. Countless small tornadoes instantly rose up on the field and attacked Sakumo Hitaki in the middle. Wind killing formation, one of the few ninjutsu of the Senfang Kai. The principle is to inject chakra into the wind to form a vacuum air flow, blowing away the enemy. Due to this special principle, after the collision of these small tornadoes, they did not disappear like other ninjutsu, but instead the chakra merged into a larger tornado. It's the wind killing formation. White Fang is finished. When the Konoha ninja saw this scene, they immediately sentenced Hitaki Sakumo to death. It's not that the ninjutsu of the wind killing formation is so terrible, but that there are too many people using it. Due to the special features of the wind killing formation, this makes it the most commonly used combination attack method in Sunagakur village during the war. The power is extraordinary, and the more people there are, the more powerful it is. This is a typical quantitative change causing qualitative change, but even in the war, Konoha ninja has only seen it at most. The 10-person team uses the wind killing formation at the same time. How many times does Chinfang control now? No matter how much chakra he has, it is not enough for Chinfang to release thousands of ninjutsu at the same time. A drop in the bucket. He alone is an army. Sarutobi Shinosuke looked at the figure in the sky, and a touch of fear arose in his heart, fearing that Chinfang would discover their team. Looking at the approaching death whirlwind, Hitaki Sakumo showed a wry smile. To put it nicely, he died on the battlefield, but did he fight? Isn't this a one-sided killing? A vacuum zone will be formed in the center of the wind-killing array, and no fire escape, shuriken or sound can be used, and as the tornado continues. The earth gathered together, and the power was no longer something ordinary ninjas could withstand. Want to cut through the storm with one sword? Unless you have Susanoo. Chinfang looked at the figure below that gradually disappeared into the storm, and slowly fell down. The situation in the storm was unknown to the outside world. Everyone thought that White Fang was dead. However, Chinfang knew that White Fang was still alive for the time being. Feeling the endless variety of Hitaki Sakumo's techniques in the storm, Chinfang suddenly felt a little emotional. Konoha is really rich. In his previous life, he didn't feel anything when watching anime. It was only after he came to Sand Hidden Village that Chinfang felt the difference. Few ninjutsu, few ninjas, few missions, and few geniuses. It's no wonder that after the collapse of Konoha's plan in the original work, Ross's death directly made 3 miners the top executives of Casecage and Sunagakur village. If Uchiha Obito's crush hadn't been killed by the Kurigakure village, causing him to control Yagura to open the Blood Mist village, which greatly weakened the Kurigakure village's strength. Then Sunagakure village would really have been destroyed by the 5 great ninja villages removed. Apart from anything else, if you read Naruto fan fiction in your previous life, you must first learn how to practice the magical skill of Shadow Clone. But after arriving at Sunagakure village, Fang discovered that the Shadow Clone technique was invented by Senju Tobarama, and only Konoha had a systematic learning method. If other people in the ninja village want to learn, they can only learn it through fighting on the battlefield or by capturing prisoners and interrogating them. There is not even a Shadow Clone, let alone multiple Shadow Clones. Qian Fengkong has a physique that is comparable to the chakra of the Uzumaki Senju body, but there is no way to use it. In the center of the storm, Hitaki Sakumo arranged a surrounding earth wall, took several scrolls from his waist, and threw them into the storm. Ninjutsu Seal. Unfortunately, the scroll seal can only slightly slow down the power of the storm, but cannot make any change at all. Laugh. Hitaki Sakumo's pupils shrank and he looked down at his body. 3 spears suddenly appeared in the storm and penetrated him. It's gravel. It's the gravel blown up by the storm. Hitaki Sakumo never expected that the sand and gravel in the violent tornado could be condensed by Fang into a sand soldier puppet and launch an attack on him. Kakashi. The famous Konoha White Fang read his son's name, his pupils gradually losing color. Tear. Feeling the disappearance of the life breath inside, Fang controlled the gravel in the tornado to stop and fall. After a harsh roar, the tornado also dissipated, and a corpse lay quietly in the center. As early as the beginning, Fang was not ready to let Hitaki Sakumo go. The reason why I talked so much to him, a dead man, and specifically told him the truth, was for the future. After all, the world of Naruto doesn't end when people die. When the concept of reincarnation from dirty soil first appeared, some people denounced it as blaspheming the spiritual bodies of ancestors, but later it became a common occurrence. By the way, will Orochimaru be reincarnated now? Fang stood next to Hitaki Sakumo's body and glanced at the direction where the Konoha troops were hiding in the distance. Their breathing suddenly stagnated. It's a pity that there is no Orochimaru among the people who came this time, otherwise they might be able to cooperate. Something. Thinking of this, Fang lowered his head to collect some of Hitaki Sakumo's severed flesh and stored it in the scroll. Then, under the horrified eyes of the Konoha ninja, he walked towards them. Darkened Sword Demon Unlock Level plus 5%. Darkened Sword Demon Unlocking Degree plus 0.01%. Unlocked Ability. Well of Blood. Blood Magic Well. Used to store the enemy's blood and fear to carry out devastating attacks. Closing square bracket. Fang, who was walking towards the Konoha ninja, suddenly stopped and raised his lips slightly. Is this it? There are specific conditions for unlocking character templates. For example, for the Desert Emperor template, every time Fang made a puppet and used the puppet to attack, the unlocking level would increase. In addition, the few times you served as captain and commander also increased a small amount of unlockability. This is also the reason why Fang did not choose ninjutsu in the ninja school, but chose to major in puppets. Now, the Desert Emperor's unlocking level has reached 100%. If he wants to continue to enhance his abilities in this area, he can only rely on Fang to explore on his own. But the new template, the characteristics of the Darkborn Sword Demon, has already been known to Fang. As a fallen ascendant, the Darkened Sword Demon is keen on killing the strong and enjoying the fear of the weak. Killing the White Fang, and the fear of the Konoha Shinobi, gave Chifei's a boost. In this case, Konoha Ninja. A voice came from midair. No matter how many times the Konoha ninjas prayed in their hearts, Fang still appeared in front of them. Looking at the Fang in the sky, the backs of the Konoha ninjas were soaked with sweat. First, White Fang led the invasion, and now you appear here again. It seems that you have completely declared war on us. Fang crossed his arms and looked coldly at the Konoha ninjas he had already discovered below. How could such a strong person appear in Sand Hidden Village? Sarutobi Shinosuke's heart was filled with regret. If he had known earlier, he should not have coveted military exploits and let Orochimaru take over this task. However, Sarutobi Shinosuke suddenly discovered keenly that the countless people who had just besieged Hitaki Sakumo, I don't know when all the sand soldiers have disappeared. Could it be that the man in front of him who killed White Fang no longer had chakra and was pretending to scare them? As soon as this idea appeared in Sarutobi Shinosuke's mind, Chifeng's next move crushed it completely. You guys want to get involved in the sneak attack on our border from Union Village. We don't have enough manpower, and we don't have the ninjas to guard you after you are captured. After Chifeng finished speaking, the originally empty Konoha shinobi were instantly surrounded by sand soldiers. Except for Hyuga Hazashi, who had the Byakugan in the team, he could barely see the formation of the sand soldiers clearly, and everyone else only felt that they appeared in an instant. Hearing Chifeng's words, the Konoha ninjas were about to cry, "Hell, when you said that Sunagakur village was short of manpower, could you let these dense sand soldiers disappear first? My soldiers, advance." Wait. Sarutobi Shinosuke looked at the sharp spear that was only 1 centimeter away from his throat, with a drop of cold sweat dripping from his head. He raised his head with difficulty and looked at Chifeng. "This strong man from Sand Ninja Village, you have misunderstood our purpose. White Fang acted without authorization and has been labeled as a traitor by our Leaf Village. Our team is here to capture White Fang and form an alliance with Sunagakur Village." In order to survive, Sarutobi Shinosuke simply gave up all moral integrity. He first labeled White Fang as a rebel ninja, and then threw him out as an alliance. He believed that Sunagakur Village, which had lost the third case cage and was attacked by Kumogakure Village, I will never reject him. As long as he can be let go, whether or not to form an alliance when he returns to Konoha Village is another matter. So that's it seems I was impulsive. Chifeng smiled faintly, as if he believed Sarutobi Shinosuke's words, which made all the other Konoha ninjas breathe a sigh of relief. But they didn't realize that Chifeng wanted to kill them. Did Sarutobi Shinosuke really have the chance to shout out the words? You must know that when Chifeng and White Fang fought, all the sand soldiers appeared directly from behind Hatake Sakumo, and even directly from under their feet. However, Chifeng's sand soldiers came first to deal with these Konoha ninjas. They appeared 10 meters away. But, just when the Konoha ninjas were relieved, Chifeng suddenly changed his tone. "I don't care when White Fang became a rebel ninja, I only know that the Konoha ninjas invaded. Want to form an alliance? Then you must make amends first, show sincerity. Sure, we in Konoha are willing to compensate for the consumption of Sunagakur village in this incident, as well as other alliance supplies. We need to discuss it after returning to the village." Sarutobi Shinosuke nodded hurriedly, as if he really came to form an alliance. "That's best. I hope you won't deceive me. Otherwise, you will never set foot in the desert." Chifeng waved his hand to disperse the sand soldiers with a believing attitude, and with a move in the distance, the White Fang teammates who were detained by the sand ninja were wrapped in the yellow sand and quickly fell from the air to the front of the Konoha ninja. These White Fang's teammates can be considered the rebellious ninjas of your Konoha village, right? I will punish you yourself. Chifeng's gesture of preparing for an alliance made all Konoha ninjas lower their guard. But they didn't know that Chifeng's voice rang in the ears of these Konoha ninjas who were wrapped in yellow sand. "Give me a message for Danzo." At the gate of Konoha village, Sarutobi Shinosuke appeared exhausted with a team of Konoha ninjas. That puppet master is very capable, but he is too young, and he was deceived by us so easily, ha 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 ha. The Konoha ninjas who escaped and returned to the village were very happy. They laughed at Chifeng and actually believed that Konoha would form an alliance with Sunagakur village. "Shinosuke, why did you tell that Suna ninja that White Fang and we are rebel ninjas?" White Fang's teammates and root members suddenly asked Sarutobi Shinosuke before entering Konoha village. Facing the sudden question, Sarutobi Shinosuke frowned slightly and glanced around. It was obvious that their words had been ignored. Some ninjas who were entering and leaving the village heard it. Shinosuke was just adapting to circumstances. If it hadn't been for him, would we have come alive? You still have the nerve to say this? A ninja from the Sarutobi family jumped out and yelled angrily. So you, more than a dozen Junin, were so frightened by a sand ninja that you didn't dare to fight back, and were forced to slander fellow ninjas from the same village and make unauthorized alliance promises. The root member sneered, his expression full of contempt. Weren't you also captured by Sunagakur village? In the end, it was our Shinosuke who threw you over and saved your life. What qualifications do you have to blame us? The ninja of the Sarutobi family sneered. Snort, I will report this mission to Danzo-sama and Hokage-sama. The root member snorted coldly, and after finishing his sentence, the figure disappeared. Let's go too. Suddenly a bad premonition arose in Sarutobi Shinosuke's heart. He said something to the others, and his figure disappeared on the spot and quickly ran towards the Hokage building. Where are they? After entering the Hokage's office, Sarutobi Shinosuke discovered that the root ninjas were not here at all. Did they go to find Danzo first? Sarutobi Shinosuke keenly discovered some problems. It's just that Danzo and Sarutobi Hiruzen haven't had any differences yet, so it's hard for him to say anything. In the darkness of Gen's underground base, 3 masked ninjas knelt down on one knee towards the figure in the darkness. Danzo-sama, this is what happened. Sunagakur village informed White Fang about the intelligence received, and White Fang became suspicious of several of us. When we were released by Sunagakur village and White Fang was dead, we were told that Sarutobi Shinosuke defined White Fang as a traitorous ninja and promised an alliance with Sunagakur village without authorization. Because they were captured voluntarily from the beginning, these young root ninjas did not see the fight between White Fang and Chinfang at all. From their perspective, White Fang was never at a disadvantage from beginning to end, because they heard after receiving the news of the betrayal, they chose to abandon them in anger instead of failing and escaping. As for why White Fang died in the end, they couldn't explain this. It may have been that the tailed beasts controlled by the sand ninja were besieged to death, or they may have been encountered. After arriving at Sarutobi Shinosuke and his friends, they were stabbed in the back. The truth could only be left to Danzo to guess, and they did not dare to speak out without permission. It seems that there were many surprises on this mission. Danzo slowly walked out of the shadows and looked at the several root ninjas kneeling on the ground with indifferent eyes. Regarding the current result, Danzo didn't think there was anything wrong with it. White Fang is dead, which is the best. The only thing that caught his attention was the large number of puppets mentioned by a few root ninjas. Go down. Danzo waved his hand and prepared to go see Sarutobi Hiruzen. Danzo-sama, I have one more thing to report. The root ninja suddenly thought of the voice he heard before being released, and lowered his head and said. Danzo stopped and turned around to wait for his subordinate's report. That sand ninja said that he and Danzo-sama could cooperate. Ah. The expression of the root ninja who was talking suddenly changed. He opened his mouth in pain, and kept spitting out yellow sand. Seeing this scene, Danzo had already grasped the kunai at some point, and glanced around coldly, and finally his eyes stopped on the ball of yellow sand. His subordinates had fainted due to spitting out too much yellow sand, and the yellow sand he spit out suddenly moved and began to condense into a human shape. Danzo throws kunai and is about to start forming seals. Danzo of Konoha, I advise you not to take action yet. I'm not here myself. This is just a fixed procedure. You can think of it as a talking intelligence scroll. The human figure condensed in the yellow sand took 2 steps back, avoided kunai, and sat down in Danzo's original position. Hearing this, Danzo stopped attacking, but was still on guard. He didn't speak. Since this was fixed program, then he doesn't need to interact. Whether it's true or false, just wait until he listens. Now Union Village sneaks into the border of the Kingdom of Wind. In the final analysis, it is just a bunch of war madmen who are reluctant to give up such a good opportunity. The country of Wind is extremely poor. Even if they conquer a desert, what can they do? News of Konoha White Fang's death will soon spread throughout the ninja world. When the time comes, do you think they will choose to continue attacking the barren wind country or the wealthy fire country? That's right, the alliance Sarutobi Shinosuke said was just a temporary measure, just to escape from the hands of Chinfang. But Chinfang still chose to believe, because he knew that this alliance, which was originally just a casual talk of Sarutobi Shinosuke, would become a reality. In this case, the compensation and treaty he casually promised to escape will become a fatal blow. Chapter 14. As a time traveler, Chinfang has a clear understanding of the situation of the upcoming Third Ninja War. Now it seems that the Kumogakure village just took advantage of the death of the third Kazekage of Sunagakure village and wanted to launch a wave of war to gain some benefits. But soon, these war madmen will not be satisfied with this. The third Raikage, who is also dubbed the strongest Kage, will directly declare war on the 3 kingdoms of wind, earth, and fire. These war madmen will not stop until the third Raikage is killed in battle. Then, after thinking calmly, they discovered that Konoha was still easy to bully. The territory gained by attacking other countries and going through all the hard work is not as rich as the resources that can be obtained casually by attacking the Land of Fire. Therefore, the final situation will change from a one-on-one battle between Kumogakure village and the 4 major ninja villages attacking Konoha. As the root of Konoha, Danzo was dubbed the ultimate scapegoat. In terms of intelligence and strategy, he was no worse than Hiruzen Sarutobi, who also came from the sect of the second Hokage. When Fang mentioned that the war would spread to the Land of Fire, Danzo did not think it was alarmist. On the contrary, he was very convinced that those lunatics in Hidden Cloud Village who were full of muscles would most likely attack the Country of Fire. After all, to be honest, if there is no need, there is really not much point in starting a war in Sand Hidden Village, which is full of desert. After all the hard work and effort, a few resources were obtained, but it was not enough to be consumed in the war. What does he want to do? Is it just the alliance against Cloud Hidden Village? After Danzo thought for a while, he realized that something was wrong. According to the latest intelligence, the troops sent by Union Village to enter the Kingdom of Wind were not large, and they did not have any high-level combat power. Obviously, Union Village and the others did not like Fang. This piece of dried meat of the country does not want to start a war that wastes its own resources. With these troops, even if Sunagakure village does not have the 3rd cage, it will not be a problem to drive away the enemy with the background of one of the 5 great ninja villages. Why are we still forming an alliance? Is Sunagakure village preparing to counterattack? Danzo doesn't believe it. Isn't Sunagakure village's top priority now to elect the next cage to stabilize the situation? Danzo, I wonder if you have any ideas about the position of Hokage. Sandato, who had been talking nonsense for a long time, suddenly struck a chord in Danzo's heart, making his heart, which had begun to become increasingly irritable, move uncontrollably. Sandato continued, "When I saw White Fang's information, I knew what you wanted to do, and I knew it must be your idea. But now that White Fang is dead, your plans are in vain. It's not a good sign to see no blood when the knife is unsheathed. Interested in continuing this game? You've already let Sand Hidden Village take the blame for you twice, not more than this time. As for the goal, don't you think that Hiruzen Sarutobi seems to be learning from Kumogakure and wants to turn the position of Hokage into a hereditary system?" Then, the Sandman slowly collapsed and turned into a pile of ordinary yellow sand. The Sandman's last words shocked Danzo's heart. He widened his eyes and clenched his fists. His heart could not be calm for a long time. "I'm a fan of the authorities, I was almost deceived by Hiruzen." Recalling the actions of Sarutobi Hiruzen in recent years, Danzo immediately confirmed that what Sunato said was definitely not to sow discord. Sarutobi Hiruzen, he was actually planning to let his son inherit the next Hokage. Danzo was so stupid that he thought Sarutobi Hiruzen and he were wearing the same pair of pants, and he gave this battle mission to Sarutobi Shinosuke. Someone come. Danzo, who was obsessed with the position of Hokage, had gradually lost the old friendship in his eyes, and pressed a button on his desk. Within a minute, 10 masked root ninjas appeared in his room. "Lord Danzo, these 10 people are different from the novices who were sent to be White Fang's teammates before. Each of them has been trained by Danzo to the extreme, and they have no emotions at all. I'll give you a mission to spread the news in the village." Sarutobi Shinosuke, in order to escape for his life, secretly designated the Konoha hero White Fang as a traitorous ninja, and even signed a treaty with the Kingdom of Wind without authorization, which was humiliating the country. Danzo closed his eyes and spoke slowly. He originally planned to kill White Fang with a fishing boat and turn White Fang into a negative example who gave up on the mission. But now that White Fang is dead, there is no need to give it to him. So what about this title of hero? People only have meaning if they are alive. Yes. The 10 root ninjas accepted the mission without emotion. They were only loyal to Danzo, let alone spreading negative news about the Hokage's son. Even if they were asked to assassinate the Hokage, they would not hesitate at all. "Carry this with you, and if anyone notices, leave some behind." Danzo glanced at the yellow sand on the ground and said lightly. No matter what, Danzo thought it was not time to break up with Sarutobi Hiruzen, so he still needed someone to take the blame. But Danzo didn't find out. In the pile of yellow sand, a small group of gravel suddenly disappeared. In the sand, Hidden village thousands of miles away. Qinfeng looked at the psychic spell on the ground and the items that appeared in the middle of the spell, and smiled. Just collect some interest from Hiruzen Sarutobi first. Danzo, your value is much greater than his. Who is using whom? Who is the person on the 5th floor? Qinfeng took out the evidence and silently sealed it into the scroll. Let's go back. Qinfeng put away the scroll and patted Yi Kang, who was standing next to him. What about Shukaku? Yi Kang looked at the companion she had been looking up to and chased after him. Shukaku. It has been locked up for a long time. Let it be let out for a while and give it a chance to move around freely for 3 days. As for the guard, there is no need to leave it to others. Luo Sha will continue to trouble you. Qinfeng, who knows that Fenfu is the perfect Jinchuriki, has no worries about the tailed beast going berserk. Guarding Shukaku. Are you sure Shukaku will listen to you and return to prison after 3 days of freedom? Luosha looked around at the ninjas of Sand Hidden Village, who were already headed by Qinfeng, and asked with a wry smile. Due to the harsh environment, the folk customs of Sand Hidden Village are similar to those of Cloud Hidden Village, and even because there are few strong people, they rely more on worshipping the strong. The one who killed White Fang, Qinfeng, will only wait a few days for the news to spread, and he will become a hot new generation of strong men in the ninja world. Since you are afraid, I'd better go and talk to it. Qinfeng stopped and glanced at Rasa. With the magnetic escape that Rasa learned from the 3rd cage, he couldn't suppress the perfect Jinchuriki. However, it was easy to suppress the rampaging Shukaku. Unfortunately, Rasa himself is now still unclear. He was still controlled by the pressure of the tailed beast, and his heart was full of fear. A golden light flashed across Qinfeng's body in Yi Kang's eyes, and he once again entered the mysterious form full of noble aura, stepping on the sand cloud, and arrived in front of Shukaku. Give me 3 days of free time. No, I want 5 days. No, I want a month. Shukaku's eyes lit up when he heard Qinfeng's words and he started bargaining. What does it mean to share blessings? Qinfeng asked calmly. Don't worry about it, old man, I have the final say now. Shukaku said with dissatisfaction when Qinfeng mentioned the blessings. The huge tanuki beast's mouth opened ferociously, which made the other ninjas of Sunagakur who were watching couldn't help but feel chills running down their spines. What surprised Shukaku? This ninja of Sunagakur village who had just been mistaken for a Jinchuriki was actually thinking, and he couldn't help but feel happy. Sure enough, you can't talk nicely to these ninjas, you just have to scare them. Just when Shukaku was thinking proudly, Qinfeng spoke again. Do you know how to use heavy particle mode? What? Shukaku blinked his dark eyes, not understanding what Qinfeng was talking about. Do you know about nuclear fusion reaction? What nonsense are you talking about? Shukaku scratched his head impatiently. Will you agree or not? Can I promise to send you to see the immortal of 6 paths? Qinfeng smiled and manipulated the gravel to form a palm, and gave Shukaku a slap with his backhand. Bang! The damage is not high, but it is extremely insulting. Shukaku was stunned for a moment, and he became angry instantly. But before it could spit out a mouthful of training, suddenly, a black shadow fell from the sky and hit it hard on the head, smashing it to pieces. Then Shukaku heard Qinfeng's curse. You don't know the heavy particle mode. How many horses do you have to dare to be so arrogant? Oh, I forgot, you are a tailed beast, you have no horse. I will kill you now. Your first 7 days coincide with the Chinese New Year. Today is a good day and I will sing all over your grave. The next day, Sunagakur village will continue to make this night unforgettable. Feeling the pain that kept coming from his body, Shukaku felt aggrieved as he was pushed to the ground and beaten. Who can tell it what the hell the heavy particle mode is? Be honest and be a mascot for me. If you dare to go berserk once, the whole village will have a feast of civet cats tonight. Qinfeng is really unhappy. Among the tailed beasts, one bill is the weakest in terms of strength. Among tailed beasts, one bill is the most arrogant. The 9-tailed 9 llama is the strongest, and he is also a top student. In the past, he was writing calligraphy on the moon, and in the latter, he was teaching Naruto nuclear fusion. The heavy particle mode is a form developed by the 9 tails, a tailed beast, as long as it is a perfect Jinchuriki, a tailed beast and a Jinchuriki. By burning the chakra of both forces at the same time as the raw material for nuclear fusion, you can enter the heavy particle mode. In this mode, life will continue to burn, and because the chain reaction cannot be stopped, it will continue until death. In this mode, the increase in strength can be said to be beyond imagination. What about the 8-door Dunjia death gate kicking 6 spots? In the heavy particle mode, the 10 big tubes were all pinned to the ground and beaten at the beginning. I thought Shukaku, as the first tail, would understand the Kyubi, but he didn't know anything about it and acted arrogantly. Who gave him the courage? Seeing that Shukaku became more honest, Qinfeng removed it. The scepter that pinned him to the ground released his ascension mode and returned to the ground. Okay, you go and watch, Qinfeng said to the dumbfounded Luo Sha, and took Yi Kang back to the village. Back in the village, Qinfeng unexpectedly found that all the ninjas were following him, and even followed him directly to the door of his house. There's some trouble. Qinfeng knows that Suna Ninja now has him as the backbone, so he can only assign some tasks to them first. It just so happens that their Sunagakur village can't help Danzo take the blame for nothing. Yi Kang lives next door to Qinfeng, and the two of them walked together with a bunch of ninjas behind them, which made her very nervous. Suddenly, Qinfeng stopped and turned around to look at the ninjas of Sunagakur village who were following him. The third generation is missing, and Chio's mother-in-law has gone to the front line. I will now issue a few tasks to you on behalf of the village. Do you accept it? Of course I accept it. Lord Qinfeng speaks, and we will serve him to the death. The sand ninjas all shouted to express their loyalty. There shouldn't be anyone coming over from Konoha for a while. Even if there is, Shukaku is enough to guard him, so I plan to go to the front line tomorrow to support Granny Chio. Qinfeng first told everyone his preparations. Lord Qinfeng, if you all leave, won't the village be leaderless again? The sand ninjas hesitated and said. So I said, I'm going to issue you some tasks. The battle on the front line will not last long. During this time, some of you will be assigned to guard the village, while the other part will complete my mission. Qinfeng explained patiently. Understood. Lord Qinfeng, please issue a mission. Just leave it to us. The sand ninjas understood Qinfeng's intention and did not refute any more. They all expressed their willingness to obey the command. There are no big families in Sand Hidden Village, and the reason is that they are too poor. Even if one person develops the awakened blood succession boundary, he cannot complete the original capital. Accumulate and create the bloodstained family, but again, because there is no family interference and the number of ninjas is scarce due to disarmament, the sand ninjas now know how to unite and cooperate and obey orders. Your mission is simple, go to the border of the Land of Fire and spread as much talk as possible during this time. Qinfeng took out a few scrolls from his arms and threw them to several sand ninjas. After reading the contents of the scrolls, the sand ninjas' eyes lit up and they were eager to try. At the same time, they were also looking forward to Qinfeng's other tasks. It seems there are no other tasks. Ahem, don't underestimate this task. You may encounter a lot of trouble when performing this task. In order to improve your mission success rate and survival rate, I decided to teach you something. Qinfeng coughed twice and cleared his throat. Master Qinfeng wants to teach you skills. Very good. Are you stupid? Even if Master Qinfeng is willing to teach us something, can you learn it in a short time? Hearing Qinfeng's words, some people were happy, while others didn't take it seriously. Don't worry, it's nothing complicated, just some tricks. Qinfeng waved his hand. Of course he knew that ninjutsu could not be learned in a short time, not to mention that he himself had no ninjutsu to teach. What he wanted to say was, skills. Do you know what is most important for a ninja to complete its mission? Qinfeng glanced around the crowd and asked a question first. It's information. Yi Kang took the lead to stand up from Qianfeng and answered successfully. She was very curious about what Qianfeng wanted to teach. When they were teammates before, Yi Kang also asked Qianfeng for advice, but it was a pity that Qianfeng was addicted to the puppet technique. Unlock the do. I don't have any spare time, so I can only say that I don't understand Zhou Dun. Yes, it's intelligence. Qinfeng ignored his conscience and nodded affirmatively. But it is true that in the ninja world where there is no cheating, intelligence is indeed the most important thing. So, after you obtain the information, do you know how to use it? I think your level of utilization is too low. You only focus on the opponent's ninjutsu and skills that you are good at. Have you ever considered personality, relationships, etc.? Fang guided the sand ninja to change word by word, and after giving them some time to think, he asked a question. You know the transformation technique, right? Of course it will. The sand ninjas looked at each other. The worst among them were all Chunin. How could they not know the three-body technique, something that should be learned in the ninja school? In this case, think about it. On the battlefield, your opponent suddenly turns into a naked woman. Will you be distracted for a moment? Do you still need me to remind you of the ending of losing focus during the battle? Fang very seriously popularized to them a ninjutsu secret that would only appear in the future, and even Otsutsuki Kagaya fell into it. This is too shameless, right? Yi Kang blushed when she heard this. She never expected that Fang, who had always been serious, would tell him how to use the transformation technique. Is this shameless? War is cruel, only the victor has the right to live, and only the living have the right to speak. Fang sighed and shook his head. This is just the initial stage. Not all ninjas will be affected. Even if they are affected, there may only be a moment of opportunity. To change the idea, when you face the third-generation Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, you transform into the naked state of his wife Sarutobi Lake Biwa, or after the transformation, you become intimate with the surrounding Suna ninja companions. Then we will be killed. Such a picture appeared in the minds of the sand ninjas, and they quickly came to a conclusion. If the mission target is the third Hokage, let alone being distracted for a moment, even if the third Hokage fights them while reading pornographic books, he probably won't be able to do it. Mission accomplished. This is just a metaphor. Do you understand the flexible use of transformation? Fang said with a helpless smile. I see. Thank you, Lord Fang. A Chunin suddenly stood up and bowed to Fang to thank him. Oh, then tell everyone what you think. Yes. Seeing that he was valued, the Chunin ran out of the team with some excitement and walked to the front of the crowd. What Fang-sama means is that every ninjutsu has a special use. We must be good at thinking and cannot just be a dead-brained ninja. The special use of the transformation technique is essentially based on the fact that normal people rely too much on the eyes, and believe in the eyes. Even if they know that the person who appears in person is fake, the brain will first accept and believe the information from the eyes. The Chunin told many ninjas with a serious face the deep meaning of Fang. Fang, why do you feel like he is a teacher at a ninja school? Yi Kang stood behind Fang and secretly poked him. Maybe he has some special talents. Isn't he our ninja of the same generation? No, it seems to be 2 sessions later than us. Yi Kang shook his head and expressed that he didn't know her. Like Fang, she had almost no friendship with other ninjas except for her tasks before. Lord Fang, I have a request. After the Chunin finished speaking, he turned around and said to Fang. Explain. I think it is best for you to bring some manpower to support the front line. In case of emergencies, you can also use them if you need to run errands and pass on information. The Chunin gave the advice seriously, and then pointed at himself. I recommend myself, my 2 teammates, and our Junin instructor. What a recommendation. To put it bluntly, he just wants to go to the battlefield. Fang saw through this Chunin's little thoughts, but he didn't reveal it. Because his suggestion is indeed useful. Bringing a few people can also explain to the front line what happened in the village. Save a lot of trouble. Okay, I agree. Tell me your name, and then take your team back immediately to prepare. Very good. Chunin Maki, report to Lord Chifeng. The Chunin responded and clenched his fists excitedly. Then, McGee waved to a few people in the crowd, and the 4 quickly left the team to prepare water, food pills, and weapons for following Fang tomorrow. Marky, looking at the departing figures, Fang shook his head helplessly. He thought he had discovered a small talent, but it turned out that he was a named ninja who had already appeared in the original work. It seems that to attract talents, we can only rely on external help. The so-called external refers to ninjas who have been abandoned by other ninja villages, rebellious ninjas, and ninjas in small ninja villages who are unwilling to be lonely. Thinking of this, Fang had to think of the 2 old faces of Danzo and Sarutobi Hiruzen. Said, to be honest, if Fang traveled through time and became a Konoha ninja, he would want to kill these 2 bosses immediately. But as a ninja of Sunagakur village, Fang hopes that these 2 cancerous people will live longer than other village sects. Just like the spy who went to Konoha, he said, "Make Konoha great again," and killed all the stronger teammates with his backhand. Okay, those who have accepted the mission from the Kingdom of Fire should go back and prepare first. Yes, in an instant, half of the ninjas were missing from the crowd. The remaining ones were the ninjas responsible for guarding Sunagakur village. We know that many of you want to go to the front line, but the power to defend the village is indispensable. Moreover, I also have another important task for you. Fang threw out a few scrolls, and after being caught by the Junin below, they opened the scrolls and read them. The content inside was not text, but a picture, or should I say, a drawing. I don't care if you gather villagers or use Earth Escape, just build it for me. Can you do it? Fang looked at the sand ninja who was checking the mission below and asked. Lord Fang, this is too big. Where should we build it? A Junin couldn't help but ask. There was a huge building drawn on the drawing. Fang clearly marked the length, width and height of the building on it. The length of the building was longer than the diameter of the entire Sunagakur village, and the height was even higher. It was so outrageous that once it was completed, people could probably see it clearly from 100 miles away. As for the purpose of this building, they didn't dare to ask, and they didn't need to ask. Master Fang must have his intention. It was built just outside the village, in the open space where White Fang and I fought before. It was just right, not too close or too far. You see, Konoha has the iconic Hokage rock, should we also have one? Fang looked into the distance and said lightly. Lord Fang is right, we also want to impress other ninja villages. Fang's simple words inspired the fighting spirit of these ninjas. Once such a huge building is built, everyone who comes to Sunagakur village will be amazed, right? Maybe people who come to Sunagakur village to release tasks will also be amazed. Many ninjas began to look forward to it. However, they did not know that the buildings Fang asked them to build were not just beautiful. Tip: check the picture in the lower right corner. Sun disk, this is the building Fang asked them to build. Of course, you can't see it on the drawings, because the most critical, sun disk, of the sun disk is separated from the main base and lies flat on the ground alone. What these people now think of as magnificent, ideographic, the huge building is actually just a base. The small sun disk that Fang prepared for White Fang before was disturbed by Shukaku and dispersed without showing any power. But now, Fang prepared to be in place at once and directly raise a complete sun disk. With the participation of ninjas, it should not be a problem to build such a building that is comparable to a world miracle. The crowd of ninjas finally dispersed. Fang and Yi Kang walked into the alley and arrived at the door of the residence. By the way, you don't have to go to the front line together tomorrow. Take the time to practice your abilities at home and then be promoted to Jonin. Fang suddenly said when Yi Kang opened the door. Oh well, Yi Kang was stunned, and his expression suddenly dropped. He opened the door, got in, and closed the door with a bang. In the bedroom, Yi Kang sat on his knees on the ground, looking at a ball of burning fire floating in front of him. Lost in thought. Fang has been working hard and making progress, but she has neglected her strength for the sake of tasks and money. Has she gradually been unable to keep up with him? In Yi Kang's memory, Fang would rarely take the initiative to take on tasks other than those assigned by the village, but would quietly improve his strength. This also meant that except for some puppet materials funded by Granny Chio, he had no other powerful puppets at all, and he couldn't even afford a detonating talisman. But now, Yi Kang has seen the results of Fang's hard work, and understands the gap caused by their choices. She recalled what Fang said when she asked Fang why he didn't do more tasks to improve his life and accumulate materials for the puppets. Repeating unchallenging tasks won't even allow you to accumulate experience, and it won't bring any growth at all. It's better to save time and practice. At that time, Yi Kang didn't understand, but now, she understands. She must work hard to practice. Since Fang no longer needs her protection, she must take charge of it alone. Don't you feel that you have been abandoned? Fang, who returned home, thought of Yi Kang's unusual behavior just now and touched his chin. Then, Fang took out a blank scroll, dipped his pen in ink, and began to write. Yi Kang made a training plan. The attack method of Yi Kang's Shuijia boundary release is to summon one or more chakra balls with wind and fire attributes, and control them. These fire balls can be used as melee weapons, used in combination with physical skills, or thrown out as a kunai shuriken. As a puppet master who once protected him, Yi Kang also has the weakness of being afraid of close combat. The burning fireball can be used as a melee weapon, but it doesn't have much advantage in using it. Keep the distance, and use the ball to pull an attack like the Dark Head of State Syndra. He is also a ball roller, and Yi Kang's burning release can be said to be fatal on contact, but the damage is much higher than the ordinary Rasengan. But the same problem arises. Ninjutsu does not have the characteristic of autoimmunity, which also limits the use method and attack range of Yi Kang's burning release. I remember that in the original work, it seemed that Yi Kang directly controlled the fusion and explosion of the scorching fireball, which was as powerful as the Rasengan shuriken, instantly vaporizing all objects in an area. Fang held his chin with one hand and turned the brush with the other hand. He remembered it correctly, but Yi Kang in the original book had already been killed by Luo Sha at that time and was reincarnated by dirty soil. The body reincarnated by dirty soil, naturally you are not afraid of getting hurt. That kind of trick should be similar to Uchiha Madara and Senju Tobarama's mutual detonation talisman. The difference is that even Uchiha Madara and Senju will inevitably affect themselves when used. Tobarama is not a reincarnated body. One of them can resist with Susanoo, and the other can escape with Flying Thunder God. Then it's very simple. Fang started writing. First, Yi Kang needs to develop a ninjutsu that can defend him. Here Fang gave a suggestion. Since Yi Kang can control the scorching fireball to float freely, it shows that he has strong control, so he can try to use it. Zhou Dun creates a vacuum belt that wraps around itself. On the scroll, Fang draws a cube with a little person in the cube. With this vacuum belt, the heat generated by the Zhou Dun explosion will also be burned by Zhou Dun. But at the same time, Fang also pointed out the weakness of this concept of ninjutsu, which is the foot. Because the destructive power of the fire escape is too strong, the area under the foot must be empty, otherwise the soil will be instantly melted and the body will be melted. It will fall. Unless the control is raised to the limit, it can achieve a stable burning escape without burning itself, or it can stand on the burning escape using chakra. It took Fang 2 hours to complete. He yawned, turned off the light and went to sleep. At the same time, on the other side, Sarutobi Hiruzen learned that his son Shinosuke had agreed to form an alliance with Sunagakur village, but he didn't care. If any Suna ninja comes and asks, just drag them along and don't pay attention to them. Sarutobi Hiruzen gave the order. Now that Konoha is developing peacefully, why should they be in alliance with their Sunagakur village? But soon, his idea changed. The next morning, Yi Kang, who got up early, was going to say goodbye to Fang who was about to go to the front line, and then started training, but he found a scroll at his door. Fang, are you there? Yi Kang picked up the scroll and shouted twice, but found no one answered. Yi Kang turned around and returned to his home. It seems that he has already left. Really, he didn't even say goodbye. Yi Kang took the scroll and sat down at the table in despair. He took a sip of hot water and prepared to see what was written in it. 5 minutes later, a giggle of, hee hee, came from the bedroom. It's a cultivation secret book. Great, just practice as mentioned above. Yakura clenched her fists. She can be said to be the only free person in Sand Hidden Village now. The other ninjas either need to defend the village and build the sun disk, or go to the border of Fire Country to spread rumors. She will take advantage of this opportunity, quickly improving his strength, which impressed everyone. Yi Kang left the village with the scroll and found an open space to practice. Ninja boys, are you piling sand? Let me help you. Yi Kang had just condensed a burning fireball, and Shukaku's arrogant laughter could be heard in the distance. Is Shukaku helping to build the building in Fang's drawing? Seeing Shukaku taking the initiative to work as a coolie in the distance, Yi Kang felt that his worldview had been impacted. However, in fact, half an hour ago, when Shukaku was rolling in the desert, he accidentally broke the newly built foundation. Shukaku didn't take it seriously at first, until a ninja told him that Fang asked them to build it. So what happened now was that Shukaku swore that it was definitely not afraid of a human being. Got hit on the head with a scepter. On the way to the front line, Qin Fang was running at high speed on the desert while studying the map of the ninja world. He discovered that the branches of the 5 major ninja villages were like the number 5 in a dice, and the richest fire country was sandwiched between the 4 countries. Of course, the 4 countries are not actually bordering each other, and there are many small countries in between. It's just that these small countries have no ability to maintain border sovereignty due to lack of strength. Big countries can come in whenever they want and leave whenever they want. Especially for this raid on Union Village, you must know that the Kingdom of Wind and the Kingdom of Thunder are on 2 diagonals. If the Kumogakure village wants to march without entering the country of fire and without disturbing the Leaf village, then it will need to pass through the country of iron, the country of Taki, the country of grass, etc., and arrive at the border with the 3 countries. Only by entering the Kingdom of Rain can you enter the Kingdom of Wind. This front is stretched too far. If there is a small country in the middle, Shao Ninja Village, and there is a small country in the middle, the supply will be interrupted immediately. Qin Fang soon discovered the big problem with the invasion of Union Village. The Kingdom of Thunder and the Kingdom of Wind are too far apart. At this time, Qin Fang also suddenly understood why Union Village would attack the country at the same time soon. The 3 ninja villages have declared war. The supply line of this small country is too long. If the ninjas of Iwagakure and Konoha village want to take action, they can cut it off at any time. Instead of being attacked by others and cutting off the supply, they should take the initiative to eliminate possible threats. Change the target by the way. In this case, if you do not perform multi-line operations, this opportunity will be wasted. Qin Fang made a decision, and in a flash, he appeared next to Ma Ji's teacher. You are the only Jonin among them, and I will give you a key task to go to the country of Yu. Go over there and find a way to spread rumors that the Kingdom of Thunder wants to seize the opportunity to annex the Kingdom of Tang in the name of borrowing the road. Hearing the mission assigned by Qin Fang, the Jonin's eyes immediately lit up and he understood what he meant. Received. There is no illusion in this world about false Tao destroying Guo, but I believe that as long as the name of Tang Country and the village chief of Tang Ninja Village have some brains, they will have doubts. Once there is a gap between Tang Country and Thunder Country, although it will not let Yunji Guo, the hidden village was defeated across the board, but it was absolutely impossible to open a too long front. This meant that even if the third Raikage was not dead, they would have no choice but to lead the war between the Kingdom of Fire and the Kingdom of Water. The Jonin handed half of the water on his body to Maki and left the team. It was not the same route to the Kingdom of Yu. The best route was through the Kingdom of Fire. Yesterday, Qin Fang sent a group of ninjas to the border of the Kingdom of Fire. Spread the word, he can just connect with his companions over there. After driving for a long time under the scorching sun, Qin Fang still had plenty of energy, but the other 3 could no longer bear it and could only stop and rest. It would be much more convenient if there was a train. Qin Fang remembered that during the Boruto period, there was a thunder car, similar to a train. The reason why it was called a thunder car was simply because it was invented by a man named Raymond. Wait, it seems like there are trains in the land of snow, but I don't know if they have them now. Qin Fang suddenly remembered the snow country located in the icy land in the upper left corner of the map. I wonder if their snow country train has been manufactured. Maybe someone can go and see it if they have time. But to say that Qin Fang invented the train, does it mean that he has invented the train? It's a bit outrageous to call it windmill. I'm so angry, what's going on? In the big tent on the front line of the battle with Union Village, Granny Chio angrily punched the stone with her fist. Ah, it hurts me to death. Immediately afterwards, one of the few medical ninjas in Sunagakure village hurriedly stepped forward to help Granny Chio treat her. What happened? Qin Fang, who happened to arrive just in time, happened to see this scene and was a little surprised. Why was the always calm Granny Chio so irritable? You must know that not long ago, she got the information about Konoha White Fang who killed his son and daughter-in-law, and she didn't act like this. Excited. Was it because the front line was defeated and Union Village increased its troops? Qin Fang guessed with a slight frown, feeling that this is the only possibility. At this time and place, the only thing that can make Granny Chenio unhappy is the war. Qin Fang, why are you here? No, there is no problem at all with a great victory on the front line. Grandma Chio was first surprised by Qin Fang's arrival, and then denied Qinfeng's conjecture with an irritated look. Grandma Chio, whose palm was healed by the medical ninja, glanced at Qinfeng and the Magi Sanin following him, and nodded. You appearing here means that Konoha White Fang really appeared and was repelled by you, right? If White Fang had not appeared, Qinfeng would definitely not have left his post without permission. Only if White Fang appeared and was defeated, and the granary was safe, would Qinfeng appear here. No. Ma Ji took a few steps forward and rushed to answer with some excitement. Konoha White Fang has been completely eliminated by Master Qinfeng. There is no such person as Hitaki Sakumo in the world anymore. What? Grandma Chio's eyes shrank, and she excitedly hit her fist on the wooden stake that served as the table. Ah! Grandma Chio, who was being treated by the medical ninja again, patiently listened to Ma Ji's emotional story, and looked at Qinfeng with a complicated expression. I didn't expect your talent to be so terrifying, I'm afraid it has surpassed that of my grandson. But to be honest, I really don't want you to continue on the path of being a puppet master. What Granny Chio said shocked and surprised everyone around her. Shouldn't Granny Chio be surprised by Qinfeng's talents and abilities and then focus on cultivating them? Why did she say such a thing instead? Could it be that she thinks that puppet masters are inferior to ordinary ninjas? But Granny Chio is the puppet master herself. She is also the pillar of Sunagakur village, not to mention the second cage as the master of puppets. I understand what you mean, Granny Chio, but you are overthinking it. Qinfeng smiled slightly and said something that others could not understand. What Qinfeng's mother-in-law is worried about is that Qinfeng will follow the path of her grandson Xie. Although Xie seems to be missing now, Chio's mother-in-law knows Xia's character very well. It is very likely that the forbidden technique has been used. For the ninja branch of the puppet master, there is no difference in terms of ordinary strength. But once you want to reach the shadow level, you will inevitably enter the realm of forbidden techniques. Only puppets made from the corpses of ninjas can use ninjutsu. If it were just for this aspect, Grandma Chio was not a pedantic person. It would not be a bad idea to use the corpses of enemy ninjas to control Chikumatsu-ju at once. The crowd is already the limit. Human puppet masters have their limits. The more they transform and improve the puppets, the more powerful they become. Only by transforming oneself. It's just that Granny Chenio forgot one thing. Not to mention that Qinfeng is now different from ordinary puppet masters under the template of Desert Emperor. Even the puppets Qinfeng originally made are completely different from ordinary puppets. If Qinfeng takes the path of being a puppet master, he must transform himself. Boruto already has computers and clones. Qinfeng develops an artificial intelligence, becomes Naruto Iron Man, and drives Gundam. It is not 100 times better than transforming himself. At this time, Granny Chenio also thought of the weird puppets Qinfeng had shown her, and smiled with relief. That's right, if it were you, you should be able to open up a new path. Quote, Chio-sama, what happened to make you so angry just now? Ma Ji couldn't help but ask after seeing the two of them finished chatting. Qinfeng also sat down, waiting for Granny Qianyo's answer. On the front line, we have driven those guys from Union Village to the border of the Kingdom of Wind, which is considered a great victory. But if we let these guys escape like this, wouldn't it mean that we are easy to bully? I explored the Kumo ninjas' supply area and sent several teams to raid, but no one came back. Grandma Chio said with a sullen face, telling several people the reason for her irritability. There were many Junin among the teams sent out. Any casualty would be a huge loss to Sunagakur village, but now none of them have returned. The front line was victorious, but the raid on the supply depot failed. Qinfeng rubbed his chin and thought for a moment, then raised his head and looked at a few people. That can only mean that there is a strong person hidden among the troops in Union Village. Could it be the third Raikage? Impossible. If that guy was here, he would definitely be the first to rush in. There was no way he would allow Union Village to be defeated. For the conjecture raised by Qinfeng, Granny Chenio immediately rejected it. Really? Qinfeng thought about it for a while. The major figures in the 5 great ninja villages, once a war breaks out, they will always be at the forefront. Of course, except for Sarutobi Hiruzen. Even the Iwagakure village is older than Sarutobi Hiruzen. The big one, Tsuchikage Onoki during the Uchiha Madara era, is still active on the battlefield. Only in the future, he will sprain his waist and take a back seat like Sarutobi Hiruzen, becoming the commander-in-chief. At this time, after Fang thought for a while, he came up with another guess. He looked up at Granny Chenio and said, "Give me the list of ninjas who have not returned. I will go and take a look. You have to be careful. If you encounter any problems, come back immediately and I will pick you up outside." Grandma Chenio did not refuse Fang's proposal, and handed a scroll into his hands with a serious face. She and her brother Ebizo must be responsible for the frontline attack and the other for the defense of the base camp. No one can leave without permission. Duty. This is why even if Granny Chio knows that there may be a problem in Union Village, she can only choose to strengthen the strength of dispatching ninjas instead of going out personally. After all, winning the supply raid on Union Village is just the icing on the cake, but if the front line loses, the whole front line will collapse. The territory of the Kingdom of Wind is different from other countries. Due to the existence of desert, cities and villages can only be built in oases in the desert. The front line position where they are now is a desert oasis. Once this place is lost, it means that a large area of land will be lost, because the large desert area cannot be used as the next defensive point. For this reason, Granny Chio chooses to believe in Fang, the strongest ninja of the new generation in Sunagakur Village. Death to Konoha White Fang. It can be said that if Fang can successfully complete this mission, plus the merit of killing White Fang, and wants to take the position of Cage, Chio's mother-in-law will definitely support it. But to be honest, Fang will definitely support it. He intends to develop Sunagakur Village, but has no intention of taking the Cage's position. He has his sights set further. 3 Junin, 13 Chunin. 2 less Junin, 5 Chunin. Outside the big tent of Union Village, Fang leaned against a rock, controlling a sand soldier, and counting the captured ninjas of Sand Hidden Village inside. If nothing else, those missing ninjas should have been there during the battle. Sacrificed. Or seriously injured and died. During war, the enemy will not waste precious medical resources on just prisoners. Did you feel it? Fang suddenly turned to the air and asked softly. I sensed it, it was indeed the Eight Tails boy. A small ball of sand with a black mark made Shukaku's voice. This is a bit of chakra that Fang borrowed from Shukaku before leaving. Just like the original nine-tailed beasts left part of their chakra to Uzumaki Naruto. However, Fang is not coveting the large amount of chakra from the tailed beast, his own is enough. What he needs is the mutual induction between the tailed beasts. It was just a precaution, but now the Eight Tails Jinchuriki really appears here. Is this the way Hidden Cloud Village teaches ninjas? Through the eyes of the sand soldiers, Fang discovered a dark-skinned boy wearing sunglasses, shaking and talking to himself in the air. Now Kurabi has just become the Eight Tails Jinchuriki, and he is not perfect yet. This is why Chio's mother-in-law did not mention the appearance of Jinchuriki on the front battlefield of Union Village. The third generation of Raikage allowed the new generation of eight-tailed Jinchuriki to follow the frontline troops, feel the atmosphere of war, experience battles and fights, and then grow up quickly. This is his purpose. Only, Fang controlled the sand soldiers to explore the surroundings. Logically speaking, even if the third Raikage was full of fists, he would not be able to let a fledgling Eight Tails Jinchuriki follow the frontline troops alone. It seems that the future fourth Raikage has left temporarily. Fang quickly came to a conclusion. There were obvious traces of injuries on the front and back of the necks of the prisoners. If it is correct, it is the classic move of Union Village AB combination, Junyu Thunder Plow Hot Knife. This move is in the original work, he directly decapitated Kisame. However, Kurabi's current size is probably far from adequate. This is probably why the Suna ninja can survive so much. The strength of the two people must be consistent. This resulted in the fourth generation Raikage having to lighten his strength in order to cooperate with the current Kurabi. Fang himself had no intention of hiding, just to get some information first. Kurabi soon noticed the shadow appearing behind the rock. There are ninjas from Sunagakur Village, another trial for me, yeah. I am Kurabi Eight Tails, why are you the only boy this time? Yo. Kilabi jumped onto the rock and said to Fang in a strange tone. Listening to Kilabi's strange tone, Fang took a deep breath. Oh, my Otsutsuki Kagaya. Your rap is as bad as the tomato pie made by Miss Konoha Kushina next door. I swear to Kagaya-sama, if you say one more word in that rap, I will kick your ass with Susanoo. Shalabi. Listening to Chinfeng's tone that was even weirder than him, Kurabi suddenly shuddered. In the past, he was the only one who blamed others, but this time he finally received retribution. 100 miles away from where Kurabi and Chinfeng were, this place was separated from the Kingdom of Wind and arrived at the Kingdom of Rain. In this area where it rains all year round, the last frontline supply transfer station for Union Village's advance is located here. In the big tent, the future 4th Raikage was standing quietly behind someone like a good boy. The two look very similar. It is obvious that the other one is the 3rd generation Raikage who is known as the strongest spear and strongest shield. Just consume their energy in Sand Hidden Village, so that they will have no time to participate in the next war. It is too barren and not worth wasting too much time. The 3rd Raikage stood in front of a map hanging on a wooden board and said to his son, now is when they are at their weakest. This is the first test for you. I am going to find that old guy Onoki. What happens after that? After. The 3rd Raikage pondered for a while, then glanced at the fertile land in the middle of the map. A flash of thunder and lightning flashed in his hand, and he clicked on it. Yuanbai will take you to the land of rain and the land of grass. All the ninjas, attack here. On the map, a big X was torn apart by lightning in the land of fire. At this moment, the ambition of the 3rd Raikage to declare war on the 3 kingdoms was clearly revealed. Again, this is based on his confidence in himself and the strength of Union Village. The so-called attack on the Kingdom of Wind while the 3rd Cage is missing is just a pretense, just to make the Kingdom of Wind, which is sandwiched between the Kingdom of Earth and the Kingdom of Fire, unable to participate in the subsequent war. Unfortunately, it backfired. The future 4th Raikage patted his strong muscles and was about to agree to the task assigned by his father when his expression suddenly changed and he took out a half-open scroll from his arms. The scroll is filled with crimson-tailed beast chakra. Father, there was an accident over there. There is an 8-tails horn quietly placed in the crimson chakra, which is proof that the 3rd Raikage once fought against the 8-tails. After being sealed in this half-open scroll by the special sealing technique of Kumoyan Village, the situation of the imperfect Jinchuriki was monitored in real time to a certain extent. Now, all the crimson chakra overflowed, and the entire scroll seemed to be stained with blood. This showed that the 8-tails had gone berserk. What happened? Could it be that as soon as that brat waited for you to leave, he couldn't help but go to the front line? The 3rd Raikage looked at the rioting and boiling-tailed beast chakra on the scroll, clenched his fists, and wished he could learn the time and space ninjutsu, and immediately flew over to punch Kurabi. In the eyes of the 3rd Raikage, the strength of Sunagakure Village, it is simply not enough to cause the 8-tails to go berserk, unless Granny Chio knows that the 8-tails Jinchuriki is in the team and chooses to abandon the position and front line to capture the 8-tails. Father, could it be that the 3rd Cage is actually not dead and that the news was deliberately released by Sunagakure Village? The future 4th Raikage has a very rich imagination, and he suddenly came up with an outrageous idea. This possibility cannot be ruled out. The 3rd Raikage was stunned when he heard his son's statement, then pondered for a moment and nodded. If this is the case, then he can only say that the wave in Sunagakure Village is in the atmosphere. Let's go find Bai. The 3rd Raikage acted swiftly and resolutely, rushed out of the tent, and found his confidant Ninja Dodai. I'll leave this to you first, there's a problem with the 8-tails. Compared to this guy, Raikage-sama, please bring some manpower. Tutai cursed secretly. Apparently he also felt that Kurabi himself had taken the initiative to expose himself. No need, just go with my father. The future 4th generation Raikage followed closely and walked out of the tent, saying to Tutai. 5 minutes ago, Kurabi and Chinfeng were confronting each other. The girls in Konoha Village are really good, yeah, and the women in Cloud Hidden Village are even cooler, yo. Kurabi couldn't understand what Kagaya Otsutsuki and Susanoo were in Chinfeng's words, but he understood that Chinfeng mentioned the young lady from the Leaf Village next door. As a boring person as a young man, Kurabi still knows a little bit about this. After the rap, Kurabi placed his hands on the 2 swords on his waist, ready to fight at any time. At the same time, he also looked forward to what Chinfeng said. What is kicking butt? Unfortunately, Chinfeng does not have the Sharingan, so naturally he cannot fulfill his promise. Speaking of which, I have to thank you Kumo-nin for being able to eat Kushina's dark tomato pie. Also, I said, if you speak in this tone again. Fang waved his right hand, and countless sand soldiers instantly rose from the ground. The originally somewhat empty frontline base of Union Village suddenly became completely dark. With so many sand soldiers suddenly appearing, Yun Ninja naturally noticed something unusual and knew that the enemy had invaded again. Similarly, the captured ninjas of Sunagakur village also noticed Fang who was confronting Kurabi. Great, it's Fang. He has come to save us. Why is he the only one? It's over, he will be arrested too. These sand ninjas still don't know the transformation of Fang's strength, and they think he is still the same ordinary Junin. Are you a puppet master? Still, Kurabi looked at this horrific scene, pulled out his double blades, and then took out a knife from behind and held it in his mouth. Like Bunfuku, Kurabi, as a Jinchuriki, instinctively felt that Fang was somewhat similar. But now Kurabi is not a perfect Jinchuriki, and Fang has not yet entered the ascension mode, so the feeling is only vague. The Kumogakur village is really big-hearted. If you put the Jinchuriki on the battlefield, aren't they afraid that you will go berserk when you see the death of ninjas from the same village? Fang's faint voice rang in Kurabi's ears, causing him to panic. He turned to look at the approaching Yun ninjas. You guys, hurry up. Idiot. Yun Ninja didn't pay any attention to Kurabi's shouting. The current Kurabi has just become a Jinchuriki, and has not yet been recognized by others for his strength. His treatment is basically the same as that of Uzumaki Naruto, who will be called the Demon Fox in the future, when he was a child. It seems that those yellow sand statues that suddenly appeared were caused by this person. Enemy attack. Ready to fight. Kurabi, come back immediately. The ninjas of Union Village surrounded Fang and Kurabi. Asshole. Fool. Those are not motionless statues. Kurabi shouted anxiously. As the eight-tailed Jinchuriki, Kurabi's senses and intuition are much stronger than these cloud ninjas. What he is now saying is idiot, is no longer a rap, but I really feel that these cloud ninjas are too stupid. If these sand soldiers are useless, then what are the enemies summoning them for? Kurabi, you idiot, what are you talking about? You can attack so many yellow sand statues. Do you think that your enemy is a Jinchuriki like you? A Kumogakur village Jonin waved his hand and said disdainfully. So many yellow sand statues suddenly appeared just now, which almost caused a mutiny, and he was the one who calmed them down. In his opinion, these yellow sand statues are indeed dangerous, but they should belong to the enemy. Confusion ninjutsu. For example, a few of the 10,000 yellow sand statues can attack suddenly when they are not paying attention. Dear ninjas of Kumogakur village, you have entered a realm that you should not enter, and it is time to leave. Thousands of winds raised a pile of sand and dust and floated into the air. With a hand, those yellow sand statues that Yun Nin thought were unable to attack all took a step forward towards them. Quote exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark quote. The field suddenly became silent. Sweat dripped down the backs of all the Kumo ninjas. What they feel now is like walking into a wax museum. When they are alone, all the wax figures in the wax museum suddenly turn their eyes towards them. Yi Yian couldn't bear this kind of psychological pressure, so he pulled out the kunai from his waist and rushed towards a sand soldier, stabbing the sand soldier's heart fiercely. But does the sand soldier have a heart? Ding! There was a crisp collision sound. The cloud ninja's kunai fell to the ground. There was a small mark left by the kunai tip in front of the sand soldier. The spear in the sand soldier's hand penetrated the body of the cloud ninja. And it wasn't a clone either. The cloud ninja just fell straight to the ground, motionless. It's the puppet master. He is the puppet master. Seeing this attack method, the Kumo ninja who commanded before suddenly remembered the specialty profession of Sunagakur village and shouted to other teammates. The best way to deal with the puppet master is to kill the puppet master himself. The other ninjas instantly understood after realizing this. Most of the fear in his heart disappeared, and he looked up at Fang in the sky. Fire release Yunliu flame slash. The first to attack was a young blonde ninja, holding a long blade and slashing a fire blade at Fang in the air. Fang in the air looked at the fire blade slowly floating towards him, and moved slightly to the left. 1 o'clock, the fire blade is empty. It's too far and out of reach. Azai clenched the long blade helplessly and furiously, staring at Qinfang in the air. Idiot, you are a genin, how dare you be the first to take action? A blonde female ninja next to Atsi noticed Qinfang looking over and hurriedly pushed him to the ground. Sister, what are you doing? Azai is very dissatisfied with the behavior of his sister Sammy. Wasn't it just that she was born a few years earlier than him and graduated a few years earlier than him? It seems you refused. Then let me give you a preview of how to fight against unkillable enemies. Qinfang looked at Azai who was attacking him below, and then issued an ultimatum to all the ninjas of Union Village. Careful, Cloud Flow Absolute Blade. Sammy suddenly noticed that there was a black shadow in the empty space behind her brother Azai. She quickly pulled out the short blade from her waist and slashed it with one blow. Well, the prisoners do need to be captured a little bit. Qinfang touched his chin in midair and muttered to himself. Tisk. Sammy cut off the sand soldier's head with a knife, and couldn't help but be stunned. Success. But, what does it matter if the soldiers formed from sand have heads or not? The decapitated sand soldiers splashed directly over her body, covering 2/3 of her body in an instant. Sister. As soon as Azai raised his head, he saw his sister being swallowed by the yellow sand. He couldn't help but scream in grief. He threw away his sword and rushed over to rescue his sister. But before he could get up, he himself was caught by 2 sand soldiers in quicksand. He held his arms and pinned them to the ground. For prisoners, almost 10 are enough, no more, no less. Leftover. The battle is about to begin. The Kumo ninja began to fight the sand soldiers. During this period, there were also many Kumo ninjas who wanted to imitate Azai and attack Qinfang's body. Anyone who has such an idea will have a sand soldier appear at their feet when they are distracted and form seals against Qinfang, ending their lives. Stop, asshole, I told you to stop. Seeing that his companions in Hidden Cloud Village were either captured or killed, Crimson Chakra gradually emerged from the angry Kurabi. Let me see how many tails you can come up with. Qinfang stood high, looking down at Kurabi who was gradually losing his mind. He knew very well that the culprit that caused the Jinchuriki to go crazy was not the tailed beast itself, but the tailed beast chakra. The tailed beast is intelligent, and the source of tailed beast chakra is the irrational 10-tailed beast. The Jinchuriki that is contaminated by tailed beast chakra will be overtaken by the violent emotions of the 10-tailed beast. The sky-shattering roar opened up a clearing, and Kurabi was now covered in a scarlet-tailed beast coat, with only a hollow white circle left in his eyes. Oops, the 8 tails went berserk. Not good. Careful. The cloud ninja who was fighting hard heard this roar and noticed something strange about Kurabi. But this distraction was directly equivalent to losing his life. Darkened Sword Demon unlock level plus 1%. Darkened Sword Demon unlock level plus 1%. Unlocked abilities. Darkened Blade, Hellfire Chains. As the ninjas of Union Village continue to die and fear, Qinfang's new power begins to awaken. Ho ho. The 4-tailed Kurabi lay on the ground, looking at the several cloud ninjas who died because of him, and slowly raised his head, his empty eyes full of violence. Finally something interesting. Roar. Before Qinfang finished speaking, Kurabi in the 4-tailed state had turned into a fishy wind and rushed towards him. Kurabi's abilities in all aspects of the tailed beast form had been greatly improved, and he could directly reach the air with just one leap. The power has not diminished at all. The moment the tailed beast Kurabi's claws were about to catch Qinfang, a chain that seemed to come from hell suddenly wrapped around his neck, imprisoning him in front of Qinfang. Then, Qinfang reached forward and grasped a giant sword made of flesh and blood. Bang! The tailed beast Kurabi was struck by the force of the giant sword. Hitting the ground and falling into a deep pit, the few remaining Kumo ninjas saw this scene and fell into despair. Their last hope, the 8 tails, also failed. It seems that it is best not to use this at this stage. Qinfang in the air didn't care about the thoughts of those young ninjas, and was still paying attention to his new abilities. The giant sword in Qinfang's hand slowly melted and returned to his body like flesh and blood. The so-called Dark Descendants weapons are the Dark Descendants themselves. The giant sword condensed by Qinfang consumes his own flesh and blood. In Ascension mode, his chakra is greatly enhanced, but the increase in physical fitness is limited, and he is not allowed to squander it wantonly. Roar. The smoke dissipated, and Kira in the pit was several times larger than his body. His body was wrapped in white bones, and a black-purple energy ball floated in front of his ferocious mouthparts. There are 6 tails, and even the tailed beast Jade is out, okay. Fang withdrew his dark sword, and with a flash of golden light, he entered the ascension mode. Boom! The tailed beast Jade turned into a meteor like a cannonball and hit Fang in the sky. My soldiers, give this tailed beast a show. Fang gave an order, and the gravel on the ground quickly gathered into the sky, forming dozens of sand soldiers holding shields. In an instant, these sand soldiers holding shields raised their shields high and stacked on top of each other. They formed a strange formation. The next second, the tailed beast Tama arrived, but it did not hit Fang, nor was it blocked by the shield, but directly entered the track prepared by Fang. The surface of the shield has turned into soft quicksand. Coupled with the huge angle, the tailed beast Jade did not explode, but followed the orbit, like Sonic, in a circle, and then, boomed with a sound, they fell to the ground. The ninjas of Union Village were wiped out. Except for the 10 ninjas who were captured by Fang in advance and prepared to be prisoners, all the remaining ninjas were reduced to rubbish by Kurabi's tail beast Jade. Of course, Fang's sand soldiers on the ground did not escape. After being blasted, they turned back into sand. If these sand soldiers want to recover, Fang must pay a very terrible amount of chakra. Oh, my Otsutsuki Kagaya, look what you have protected. Roar! After being ridiculed by Fang, Kurabi had long lost his mind. Kurabi once again had an extra tail, and his size skyrocketed again. At the same time, his tail was no longer a pure chakra body, but an 8-tailed octopus tail, and his body even appeared, complete flesh and blood. This size is a bit troublesome. Looking at the 8 tails getting bigger and bigger, Fang scratched his hair. His sand soldiers can be said to be a great weapon against ninjas who can't cheat, but when faced with those who drive Gundam and transform into little monsters, the effect is not that good. A lot. Roar! Kilabi, who already had 8 points and 8 tails similar to him, turned over and rushed towards Fang. The attack at this moment was completely different from before, and the entire sky was covered with black shadow. Boom! A huge scepter it fell from the air and hit the 8-tailed head. Just like before, it smashed into the ground. Is this ghost thing again? Shukaku's chakra consciousness, which was hiding on the ground and was about to dissipate, looked at the familiar scepter and shouted. Isn't this the same thing that Fang took out from nowhere yesterday and beat him violently? What the hell is this? Compare. Stop it immediately. There was a loud shout in the distance, and a bolt of lightning pierced the ground and hit the 8 tails who had just climbed up from the pit. Bang! The 8 tails who had just climbed up were blasted out, plowing a tunnel in the ground. This person is none other than the 3rd Raikage who once fought against the 8 tails on his own. Both of them were exhausted, and finally ended up in a draw. Where are the ninjas from Hidden Cloud Village? Why is there no one here? What on earth is going on here? The 3rd Raikage, with his lightning armor flashing on his body, roared angrily at the 8 tails in the pit. Kurabi had already lost consciousness, so it was naturally impossible to answer. The 3rd Raikage looked at his son who came after him, and slowly raised his head on the way. They saw the 8-tailed beast Jade, and they had a bad feeling in their hearts. Now, the 3rd generation Raikage just hopes that Kurabi will give up in advance before transforming into a tailed beast. The village ninjas evacuated instead of another possibility. Are you the enemy who pushed the competition to this level? The 3rd Raikage took a deep breath, looked at Fang standing in the sky, and clenched his fists. In the Thunder Escape Chakra mode, the 3rd Raikage can directly tie with the 8 tails, which shows how powerful he is. The 3rd Raikage jumped up, and in just a blink of an eye, he appeared in front of Fang, with the palm of his right hand raised flat. It was his signature skill, Hell Thrust Sibin Gunsho, in the face of this ferocious attack. During the attack, Fang only took a small step back, and the 3rd Raikage missed it and fell to the ground. This is the terrifying thing about having the ability to control the air. No matter how powerful an ordinary ninja is, there is no way to use it in the air. Relying on physical skills to borrow strength in the air, unless the 8-door Dunjia reaches the death door, one can step on the air and soar into the sky like Kai. Bull Ghost, I need your help. The 3rd Raikage who fell to the ground flashed and appeared on the 8 tails body. The hell thorn in his hand was placed across the other horn of the 8 tails. This kid lost control of himself, it's none of my business. The angry voice of the eight-tailed Gyuki sounded. Although he was cursing, the eight tails still cooperated to help Kurabi regain some sense. But as a price, the eight tails has now temporarily taken over Kurabi's body control. Only in this way, to not be affected by the violent emotions originating from the 10 tails. Raikage, come on, I've been seeing this boy unhappy for a long time, I want him to see what a tailed beast is. The eight-tailed Gyuki stood up, and the last tail also appeared. There is a huge difference between a rational tailed beast and an out-of-control tailed beast. To ordinary ninjas, it seems that being out of control is more terrifying, but it is not. This guy borrows sand to float in the air. You block his movement and I attack. After the words fell, the third Raikage dodged and appeared in Qinfeng's blind spot, which was directly below him. At the same time, the eight tails opened its mouth and began to accumulate power, and balls of destruction chakra condensed into its body. After the tailed beast Jade was condensed, the eight tails did not directly attack Qinfeng like when they went berserk, but swallowed it in one gulp. Continuous tailed beast Jade. The eight tails opened its bloody mouth, and countless energy cannons were fired from the mouth into the sky. The power of these tailed beast Jade is smaller, but the number and density are greatly increased. If ordinary tailed beast Jade is a cannon, this is the Gatling machine gun. The purpose of the eight tails is very simple, to cooperate with the Raikage to block the movement of Qinfeng. Its current Jinchuriki is too weak to exert more power on its own. To take revenge, it can only rely on the third Raikage. Call. Qinfeng, who was in the air, let out a long breath. The eight tails is gathering power to condense the tailed beast Jade, is he just watching? His surprise is ready. Wow, the entire desert suddenly rolled up dust, forming a huge tornado. The tailed beast Jade was submerged in the tornado, and there was no sound. As this wind escaped, looking at the sudden dust tornado, the third Raikage frowned and rushed in directly. He has the strongest shield of lightning armor, so his wind escape is nothing. Indeed, wind escape is very important to the third generation Raikage. You can really ignore it. Not to mention the tornado and the wind-killing array, even the wind escape and the Rasengan shuriken can't harm him. Bang! The third generation Raikage was suddenly thrown out of the sand. Tornado. A scepter appears in the dust. It's that thing again. Eight-tailed Gyuki and Shukaku chakra clones spoke in two places at the same time. However, this time it was not just a scepter. My empire is not just about soldiers. Gnosis, let us get back to where we belong. Qinfeng stepped into the eye of the storm, the golden scepter in his hand shining together with the sun in the sky. The storm dissipated, and the rolling yellow sand gathered in it. A huge black shadow held the scepter and stepped out of it. I've been waiting for centuries. The huge black shadow's body made of gravel, after being injected with the power of Qinfeng's ascension, its eyes lit up and responded to his call. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.